Ladies and gentlemen, may I present for your intellectual and philosophical pleasure,
Ron and Fez on Raw Dog Comedy Hits. Channel 99.
Okay, let's get down to it, boppers.
Yeah, buddies. It's the Ron and Fez show. Back for our first show of the new year. March 16th, 2015. A day before St. Patrick's. Coming down Fifth Avenue in New York City today, and they're already putting the puke drums out for the Irish people to celebrate their heritage. They say that you won't have to go more than 15 yards in any direction to throw up this year. So, congratulations to the mayor. You're on top of it. All right, we'll get this show started. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. I want to bring your attention to something that I believe went up over the weekend, and that was a UFO sighting. I've basically seen every kind of UFO sighting ever, but I've never seen one that just rocked me to my core the way this did. It's up on the Interbank today, but Tim Heidecker, who's come in and done this show before, as a guest of ours, put up this video, I guess, that he shot himself. It's shot simply on an iPhone, and I can guarantee you that there are no CGI or special effects used in this. I've watched it 15 times and cannot figure out what it is. It's up on the Interbank today. Fez, you got to look at this.
I looked at this and I am terrified and amazed at the same time.
What is there to be terrified of?
Well, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's an unidentified flying object is what it is. Now, that doesn't mean that it's an alien spacecraft. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I've been looking at it. And go ahead and hit it for a second, would you? And you can watch it going up. We're about 3 seconds away from this. All right, right there, I just saw a color that does not exist on the planet Earth. Disappears for a second, comes back. Now, what happens a lot of times with these things, Fez, is that disappears again.
That's the weird part, where it vanishes and then all of a sudden you see it back in the frame.
Now, that could be, and this has happened many times before, military spy planes. That, you know, the military is working on stuff that the public won't see for years. But I'm going to ask you this. How could they come up with a color that does not exist on the planet Earth?
That I have no idea.
And I don't even know like what colors would go into that. I mean, for that alone, It's beautiful. What part terrorizes you, Fez? That it could be aliens that'll eat us?
Yeah, that it could be aliens, that it could be something that even our government doesn't know what it is. Maybe it's something from another government.
Well, the government would be aliens. That's the government to worry about. We're not worried about Luxembourg who's come up with a new kind of plane. That's the thing that always surprises me about you, Fez. You're not seeing the big picture. There's a universe out there, and this came out just over the weekend also. The universe itself, the Milky Way, is 2 times bigger than we had thought. Twice as big as what we had thought. As if perhaps it's up against a mirror universe that's exactly the same size. Now, the big question would be, could something have broken through that mirror. Black mirror, if you were. Have you ever seen something in the night sky, Fez, that you couldn't decide what it was?
Yeah, I've seen a UFO before where it was the night sky and it just kind of had like a flowing thing to it.
All right, this is a very good thing you brought this up. This is a day sky.
Yeah, who sees UFOs during the day and then there's that thing? There it is.
You and I saw one during the day on 57th Street.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
You forgot about seeing a UFO on 57th Street that, by the way, was flowing.
Right.
Is that the one that you remembered? You just forgot I was with you?
Yeah.
And you forgot it was at daytime?
Yeah.
They're going to laugh you out of the Institute, Fez. You have got to get your facts down straight. Now, what you and I were looking at that day, I believe, was an actual weather balloon that was over the city of Manhattan. But it was real fun to stand on the street corner, scream, what is it at people, and then have them look up and actually see something. This was pre-YouTube, or we could have YouTubed that and tried to get it on Opie Radio YouTube.
This thing's moving incredibly fast, too.
Well, why would it, well, that's an interesting point, Fez, because how can we tell it's going fast? Because it's up against the sky. There's nothing really to measure that against. Whether it's going 600 miles an hour or 6,000 miles an hour. Have you ever went and watched a liftoff over Cape Canaveral?
Yeah, I saw a space shuttle lift off.
And how far away were you?
I was probably, I think, 15, 20 miles.
I know people over there. I was 2,000 yards away from a liftoff once. Knocked off my feet. The heat had burned one side of my face. It's up on the iBag today. A picture that I'm going to take away from UFO, and I'm going to just simply call it alien spacecraft. I'm going to go that far with it and just call it confirmed alien spacecraft. That's what it should be locked up there as. There is no possible way to know how many different planets are inhabitable out there. If I'd have to just say off the top of my head, 7 million. 7 million. And we've got to get to them before they get to us.
No one could argue with you on that number.
We've got to get there and bomb them.
Does it weird you out that it's shooting, looks like it's shooting upwards? Like it's already done its business and it's leaving?
You mean that they came here just to take a shit? That's what you're saying, Shelby. You think that an alien spacecraft came here, shat, and then moved on.
Who knows what their shits entail, so it could be some horrific
Yeah, they
thing.
shit from their tails. Obviously, they're going to do that. God, that's amazing that Heidecker was able to get that. There's that color again. What could that color be? What if you just saw it make a message that just said, "We will fuck you up"? Maybe they've been studying us long enough to know that they got to get a rep for themselves before anything happens.
I kind of prefer it, then at least I know something's gonna happen instead of just waiting, like someone might punch me.
If something is going to happen, you want it to happen in your lifetime. And you want it to happen while your children are really young. Because that way they realize that they missed out on freedom. Jason.
Yes, sir. Fez, you've been doing great lately. I just have a question about the UFO, the whole alien thing. If aliens did come down here, would you let them probe Uranus?
I'll just say this. I think we would let any species probe our anus. Go ahead. Check around. See what you like. Fascinating. and frightening.
I don't understand the probing of the anus. Like, they have all this technology, yet they think that, oh, this is the only place they can put things. They never cut somebody open before.
You should be a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? Here's another thing, right?
Yeah.
When you go to McDonald's, what part of the chicken is that? You know what I'm saying, Fez?
I have no idea. I've never seen a chicken with its own nuggets.
I'm just saying,
And what about this? Why do they want to hand out penis on an airplane? I mean, come on. Do you know how many people are allergic to penis these days? And they're so difficult to open up. Hey, I'm thinking, hey.
I'm just saying, what's the deal with that, you know?
You're cutting edge, my friend.
Yeah.
You've got it all. Your act has it all from A to B. You cover the waterfront. Well, it's up there on the iBank. Tim Heidecker has done it again, and it's a stunning video. And up to this point, I've never seen a UFO video that I couldn't figure out myself. This is the first time that I ever find myself saying, we've been visited. You know, and who knows? Maybe they come here every couple thousand years. Remember, Gurion that day told us that the only thing that could possibly build the pyramids was aliens. Even though we have much more sophisticated buildings. I think he also said the same thing about the Golden Gate Bridge. Heidecker, you a crazy bastard. Apparently, too, that you could find out that it's counting backwards. It's counting backwards. Would you like to be here when the aliens arrive, Fez?
Yeah, I would actually. I would hope they're good, nice aliens, but that would be an amazing.
Why would they be good, nice aliens?
Where it's like, all right, well, they're searching for other life forms in the galaxy, so they come and find us just to make contact.
Okay, let's try to think of the history of explorers that we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have explorers that have gone around to find other life forms on the planet Earth ever been, as you put it, nice? Have we ever been nice to other species that we've found here on the Earth?
It's never happened with us.
So what would make us think that they would look at us any different than we look at garden slugs? Did we ever came on to an island, found there was new species, and thought to ourselves, let's figure out how we can make their lives better? It's just not something people do. Johnny.
What's up, boys?
Hey.
You know, this UFO stuff, this morning on my way in, I was flipping through the channels, and Coast to Coast is on Sirius XM, on, I think it's the Indie channel, like right up before when you guys have your replay, and they were talking about UFOs this morning, and it got me thinking about, like, that whole thing. It's just a bizarre thing to think we can't be the only things around. It's impossible.
Well, Johnny, I'm going to put your theory to test, but there is a video up on the iBang right now. And thanks for calling, Johnny. There is a video on the iBang right now by Tim Heidecker that proves once and for all there are, in fact, aliens that have visited here. This is Charlie here on the Ron and Fez show.
Ronnie B., my favorite aliens is when Mandy Patinkin goes and hangs out with Brian Piccolo and drinks Brian Piccolo's bad milk to get drunk. That's the best aliens ever.
I know you like joking around, but this time, and normally I'm the type of guy too. I like a good gag, you know. I like a silly pun or an ironic reference. But in this case, Tim Heidecker has put together something that I believe you will find nothing less than chilling. It's up on the Interbank today. Speaking of chilling, Gail Bennington, no relation, got me to start watching this HBO show called The Jinx. It ended last night, unlike that stupid NPR podcast. This ended with an actual arrest. The filmmakers did the work of a Jim Rockford and were able to put together a case that the police thought, God damn it, you've done our work for us. Let's take credit. From the Bennington Show, which runs Fridays over there on Opie Radio, we have Gail Bennington on the line. Gail, how are you?
Hey, Jarecki. Jarecki here.
Jarecki was amazing, right?
I'm going to start just every time I call someone. Hey, Bennington.
By the way, did you see the offices that Jarecki has?
Yeah, I mean, looks pretty like low key.
Pretty posh for a documentary filmmaker. So I went and looked it up. I'm like, where did he get his money? He started Movie Phone.
No, he did?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He started Movie Phone with some other jitterbug. They sold out to AOL back in '99, and now he gets to go around in a very more or less heart-to-heart fashion and gets to solve crimes. But
I knew he did that capturing the Freedmans. I thought that can't be Freedman money.
Every time that he does something, somebody ends up in jail.
It's got to be a huge story.
Now, the Robert Durst, the Jinx, I'm not even a true crime guy. When you brought it up to me, I'm like, I'm not big on true crime. I don't like to think like, I'm really interested in why murderers do what they do. But this thing grabbed me. I stayed with it. And the payoff, the last couple of minutes of that. Now, by the way, don't be some dope who goes, oh, I see it in the papers, so I'm going to go watch the last couple minutes. Get caught up in the whole show.
It's definitely worth investing in.
And the payoff is amazing.
It's incredible. I feel like I'm finally getting back what Serial took away from me, all those hours.
Now, there was a foreshadow of this earlier, which makes for great, storytelling. There was a foreshadow of how last night ended. Now, I'm going to point out to anybody, here's how much I hate spoilers. I saw that there was news about it yesterday, that the case had broken, and I stayed away from the news so I have it delivered when I watch my HBO show. Now,
I had the exact same thing. I wouldn't read the articles until I was able to sit down and actually watch the show.
But we will give away this spoiler alert, and feel free to turn off this show anytime you want. The Robert Durst was arrested yesterday. The people at HBO had to be doing high fives because they put years into this.
Yeah.
And how many times do you get a payoff like this where the filmmakers are doing detective work, police work?
It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy that it actually broke the way it did. The timing of it was just insane. I know a lot of people are wondering, well, if he had all this information, was he withholding something? But I don't know if that's going to come back on him. But it came out perfectly. I mean, it could not have worked out better.
Look, while I'm talking to you, I have CNN on, and they are trying. They've got to do the handwriting analysis while we're sitting here. They've got basically the last scene of the show. Now, here's the other thing too, Gail. Again, he's going to get an incredible defense, right? He's got the money to go in there and defend this. And for all we know, everything that we've seen may be thrown out.
It's very possible, yeah. You never know with that kind of thing what they're going to be able to use and what they're not. But you can certainly say from not a legal standpoint, if you're just judging it based on character and, the facts that were presented, there's never been a doubt in the show what kind of guy Robert Durst was, which is kind of great because it wasn't like a whodunit or like that kind of mystery. It was just kind of peeling back the layers of this psychotic character, and it was just insane.
When he was talking to himself, right? Did you feel like there was a conversation, like both sides, like there was two people in his head talking back and forth?
I definitely felt that way. That conversation, I was half covering my face, curled in a ball like I was watching a horror movie.
It was a horror movie. It's scarier than a horror movie because at least the horror movie is made up.
Yeah. And, the scene just previous to that scene, where he is kind of becoming, he's becoming to understand that Jarecki has this on him and there's not going to be any way to deny the handwriting. And he starts to do this nervous burping. I actually started to get heartburn and felt like nauseous during this part.
You empathize too much with the murdering dogs.
Obviously, I don't feel bad for him, but just the anxiety of watching him was freaking me out so bad. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. Also, if you were to write a story like this, there's all these cliches about, things that you would write about someone nervous. Sweaty palms, shaky hands. The nervous burping was so weird and so real and creepy, like so human in a really unsettling way.
It would be like if he just started to slowly piss himself.
It was that scary, yeah, definitely. And I feel like later when the mic is hot, I feel like, I'm not sure, it sounds almost like he might be dry heaving in there as well. It sounded a little bit like that to me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. It was the most insane ending to any show that I've ever seen in my life. And what a great way to go out. Not with, any kind of bullshit of, now we'll sit around and we'll talk about it. And we'll go to just boom, leave us with the fucking, basically the head in the box. You know what I mean?
Yes. I thought that was such a smart move because I think a lot of filmmakers' instinct would have been, to have a response to what he was doing or try to piece that together for us. And there was no need to do that because all you had to do was hear him say what he said and know, this was in his own way, a confession.
And yet, I don't know whether that will hold up because
it might not. It very well might not.
Here's the thing, and I talked about this with Fez. Fez, you wanted the guy who killed the American sniper let go on a reason of insanity. And I'm like, it's a really tough thing to prove. Like, this guy is definitely crazy, but it doesn't mean that he's insane. There's a real difference in what the law will, say.
Right. There's no doubt in my mind that he is not mentally, he's not normal. He's not a normal person. He could not be normal. However, he is well aware that murdering people is wrong.
Right.
And the mere fact that he attempts to cover it up and has covered it up is proof that he knows this is a bad thing to do. So he's not so completely off that he doesn't know right from wrong.
Now, here's what's going to happen. This is going to probably be tried in Los Angeles, correct?
Right. I would assume so, yeah, because I think it's really only going to focus on the second murder.
Can they find 12 people in Los Angeles who do not have cable? That'll be the difficult thing, that they don't have cable or Hulu.
Yeah, that kind of shocks me always with these kind of big trials now. It's got to be increasingly harder to find people who have not heard of any case that's been sensationalized. I'm not sure how they'll find 12 people who are like, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. Don't know what's going on.
This is the Cakehorn on Twitter just sent this to us. HBO does it again. They were the driving force behind the West Memphis 3 getting free.
Oh, is that right?
They
I
have
think you're right,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, they do an amazing job with documentaries at HBO. They win all the Emmys. Everybody is caught up in their documentaries in a big way. Documentary filmmaking can be so entertaining, and even in the case of this, I would not have seen this unless Gail was like pushing me to watch it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it one episode, and I pretty much got locked in. But remember when I went back and told you after, at first I felt bad for him when he talked about his childhood and that weird thing that happened. And I had to go like 3 or 4 episodes before I said to myself, well, that never happened. That's just another crazy story that he tells.
It's very possible that is not a memory that he has at all.
And that's why I want to be a lawyer. I want to say that he lied about that from the beginning. By the way, I think his brother put out a thing saying, good, we're glad. Here's Nick in San Diego.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
What's to stop him from using the same defense as the first one, Ronnie? Like, I was in this position, and I knew if I would have went and seen her and I called the cops because of what happened with my wife, they're going to think I killed her. And then he just does the same old shit again.
No, there's no doubt that he's going to have a defense that is better than the defense that you could put up, Nick.
Yeah.
And his brother came out and said, by the way, he didn't see my mom kill herself. We were all in the house. And as soon as it happened, they came and whisked me and my 3 siblings away to the neighbor's house. And we were there until they cleared everything up.
Here's the other thing. What was scarier than this scene, and there's no reason this should be scarier, of him just on a day of his own walking up to his brother's house and just looking at the door. And then I'm like, he's an old man. What are you worried about? But there's something so creepy about him.
I started to think that about Jarecki as well. I was thinking, like, you've let this person into your life. This person has a connection to you. This is the type of people he kills.
Yeah.
Is someone he befriends, somebody who kind of becomes intoxicated by his like weird personality, and then that person turns their back on him or does something against him. And it's totally weird. He's just this little old man, but there's something just so terrifying about like the power that he holds.
It's I was actually thinking, like, how close have I ever been to this guy? Because I saw different scenes that were shot right around the corner from here. You know what I mean? So I was just like, at one point, it would have been very easy for me at any point to be in the background of this documentary, but I would have become pals with him. I probably would have had him in the radio in a heartbeat. Here's David in California.
Hey guys, call me the lame ass of lame asses, but could you possibly synopsize this story a little for me? I've had my head in the sand, I know it.
Dude, I'd like to kind
of get a little background on it.
I will just tell you this. It's about a rich guy, is the way it starts. A real 1%er, a guy who was born rich, and he's definitely both smart and strange. And the real thing is, there's been some murders that have been committed, and everyone knows that of these 3 murders, he's the only connecting piece, and yet can it be proven? But go back and watch this on HBO. You can watch it beginning to end now with your on-demand or HBO Go. Here is Brendan in Strong Island. Hey, Brendan.
Hey.
Yeah.
It bugged the shit out of me, and I was even Googling it because I couldn't figure it out. Even though he had the great defense in that first trial, how come nobody asked him what he did with the head that he went back and took out of the Gulf or wherever it was?
Apparently, the head went into a bag just like the other pieces, and for whatever reason, the head wasn't found. So one of the things about him is, I mean, it's called jinxed, but it could be just called luck. And even if you look at this story, he's been getting free time for decades that he should have easily been locked up for.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten away with it all.
I think the thing with the head is he was going on the idea of that the head was never found, but what the filmmaker's trying to show is he obviously went back. He saw the pieces, the bags of the body parts were floating. He went back in for the head, knowing that he couldn't get them all. But I don't think that the jury thought that he took the head. They're just like, we just never found the head. And, you know, what the filmmaker's saying is it's a little suspicious that only the head was not found. So obviously he did something with it.
But did he want the rest of the body parts to be found then?
No,
You know, it doesn't make sense.
What had happened was he goes back the next morning to check on, you know, where he had dropped them off in the water and realized that they were floating and panicked. So I think that he could not have maybe hidden the fact that he was like gathering up all these bags. So I think he just quickly grabbed the head and ran. So he was like, at least they won't be thinking that they wouldn't be able to identify the body without the head.
Weird. Now, did you read the New York Times story about this?
I haven't read it yet. No.
All right. So what the filmmakers are saying is that piece of bathroom confession, and we are talking about Jinxed, a true murder story, that documentary series that HBO ran. That bathroom confession wasn't found for 2 years by the filmmakers, that they did not know that they had it.
Really? The last scene was not.
The last scene had sat around for 2 years until somebody went back over it. Now, my feeling is it because they wanted it in time to put this out on HBO? And if they said, "Oh, we've been holding this for 2 years,"
that could be possible.
So Jarecki could end up in big trouble for this.
I think they've been holding it because he didn't do this like, you know, a couple hours after. He did it right after it ended, and they know that he has like tendencies to just be by himself talking even when he has a mic on.
That doesn't make sense, what you just said there at the end. There's no way that when an interview, you know from cutting stuff up, that once you start to go to one place as the end, you never go on after that. So there is that possibility. But there's also the possibility that these guys said, if we turn this shit in now, this doesn't make,
Yeah, we don't have a show.
We don't have the show where they literally got the arrest the same day as the show. Somebody could look into that for sure. But I certainly am not going to accuse them the way that Shelby just did.
However, if you imagine that they did find that 2 years later, you know that would be like some intern or some editing assistant like going through tapes. Could you imagine like finding that?
I'd start burping. I would immediately start burping. Maybe they're going to find out it's Jarecki. He's doing a Robert Durst impression.
With Jarecki all along.
Yeah.
The whole thing. He actually killed them all.
Mr. Movie Phone.
And he would have gotten away with it, too.
If it wasn't for those pesky kids. Here's Tim in Nevada. Tim.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Okay, now that we've solved this crime.
Right. So I'm going to tell you that I don't think that the bathroom confession is nearly as compelling as the handwriting analysis, honestly. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is that the DA for Westchester, she was probably the most compelling individual in that whole series. I mean, those last two murders really kind of hinged on her going after Robert Durst for the first murder.
And yet, she never got anything done. She was out, done. I mean, as tough as she talked, she did not get the police work that these filmmakers did. And you have
She's
to ask.
also one of those like I mean, she's one of those TV talking head DAs.
Right.
As well, like she's got the big personality. But I agree with you. She obviously was all bark and no bite with this.
I mean, let's be honest. Is there anything that these filmmakers did that a police detective from any one of those 3 cities couldn't have done? And this guy walked around for fucking decades.
Yeah.
Decades free. And it really, I mean, it's going to come down to some handwriting analysis. And by the way, if you're on a jury, do you give anyone life in prison based on handwriting? I don't know whether I do that or not. This is the kind of thing that ends a Columbo, but not a Law and Order. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't
know. I wonder though if they'll be able to take the facts that were found in the show and be able to work backwards from it. Like let's find a legit way to be able to present this to a jury.
Do you think
maybe not the exact way that it was done in the show, but I don't know. Who knows?
But let's look at this. Suppose he has a defense attorney who fucking turns up 1 million people who make Y's like that, or how many people misspell Beverly?
Yeah.
Today, this looks like a slam dunk to us, but once some really good defense attorneys get involved in this,
right. I mean, and his defense with the third murder was insane, and I'm sure he's going to have a similar defense, if not the same attorneys. And you would call that a slam dunk. You're like, listen, there's no doubt that this guy chopped up his body and was, living next door in hiding. I mean, it would definitely seem like, oh yeah, this guy's guilty and he's going to go away. I'm sure a lot of people got lazy with that case for that reason, because it was so apparent, and yet they were able to slip right through.
Here's Sean in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, a lot like you. My girlfriend was watching this show, and it's not my cup of tea, but I was so fucking compelled with this thing the whole time. Couldn't believe it. But have you heard anything about speculation on a season 2 covering the trial? Because she sent me a text this morning saying that was coming out.
Dude, I got news for you. I'm not waiting for HBO. I need Top Mom on this. You know what I mean? I need this to go right to live television where I can sit and scream at people, because we've never seen his current wife. I want to see his brother on the stand. I want these families have to remember, they're there for my entertainment now. I need it all.
I'm sure old Top Mom's all over this today.
Yeah, she's got to be. What time does she come on?
She's got like an evening show, right? So she's got to be on at like sometime at like 8 or 9, I think.
Because you followed that crazy murder trial, that last one, right?
The
big
Top
one.
Mom one?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I didn't want to get into it, but it just kind of pulled me in. And
oh, I hate these kind of stories normally.
They're the worst, man. They're just the worst.
Crazy.
Now that DA is on her show all the time.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, like she was one of the talking heads who would go on and talk about the Casey Anthony trial, and she's into all those things, and she's always on TV talking about something, and always very tough.
Yeah, I wasn't even slightly impressed with her bragging about the fact that she couldn't get a conviction. It's the exact opposite of what I want in a DA. Yeah.
But
it was insane.
Show. She's like a TV show DA. It's crazy.
Yeah. Here's John in FLA.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Why did it take? What about the bungling L.A. police? Why did it take HBO to do a handwriting analysis? Are you telling me, how old was he, 60 years old, 70 years old? They couldn't go back and find, decades of his handwriting? Are you serious?
Well, first of all, they did. It's a very good point. It did never seem like he was a prime suspect for them ever. It seemed like he was a rumored suspect, but it never looked like the L.A. police department decided, let's really investigate this guy. They basically said we couldn't put him in L.A., but we could put him in the state of California.
No, but they had the handwriting. Come on, give me a break. They could have just had the handwriting and just went back and found some things he wrote, just like they did in the documentary.
Like I said, I don't think they really investigated him strongly. Do you, Gail?
I mean, I guess no, they couldn't have, because this letter was in Susan's possession, right?
Right.
And don't you think that any good investigation would have just combed through everything she owned and anything she's ever had in the house and anything anyone might have had of hers? It just seems crazy that it would take a filmmaker to do it. But I think you're right. I think that he was like a half-hearted suspect. Like, I think that her family had mob ties, and they couldn't get over that. That's all they were thinking about. She was writing a book on a couple, like, mafia stories or something, that involved actual mob guys, and I think that that's what they were totally focused on. They said, oh, it was a mob-style hit. She was shot from behind in the back of the head, and that's like,
And it is one of those things that people go, well, let's just follow, it's so obvious, let's just follow the regular leads. But when you don't kind of think outside the box, to use that cliche, these type of things might happen all the time. Let me go up here to Justin. Justin in Austin.
What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Hey, I read in that New York Times article the LAPD did do a handwriting analysis, but it was inconclusive. Another thing to remember, everybody talking about the bungling cops here, these HBO guys, they did one case for 4 years. These cops have several cases ongoing, several cold cases ongoing. They don't have the time or the resources to go this in-depth on one particular case.
Then what good are they?
Yeah, I mean, it's really disheartening.
Do you want to hear, about your dad's surgery? Oh, you have to remember that doctor did 8 surgeries that same day. So yeah, you are going to make mistakes. No, everybody's expected to do a good job. And there's no way that you should be able to sit around and say that these filmmakers did better detective works than our professional detectives.
Yeah,
and apparently it was good enough to get an indictment.
I mean, it's hard to believe that handwriting analysis would be inconclusive on that, because especially if we're talking about if they were looking for samples of his writing. Like, it's not just the envelope that was found in Susan's possessions where he misspells Beverly, but also they found other records that Robert Durst had written in print, in like the block lettering print that they were able to use as well. So it's not just going on one envelope for him.
Remember the day that he first looks at the thing and he's like, it's just basically block lettering so that people can't, find out. I'm like, who calls that block lettering?
I know.
Who goes out of their way to say, I'm looking at block lettering?
Well, he would hand him weird things. Like, if you were worried about your defense, if you were thinking about what your lawyers would tell you to do, why would you say something like pointing out the misspelling of Beverly, pointing out the block letter, saying this is obviously somebody who wanted to do this? It's like he kind of lays things out for him, and it's just like, just stop talking. Why are you talking to this guy?
Right.
Like, it's kind of strange, because that's a whole other aspect to this, is that he agreed to do these interviews with the filmmakers, and he allowed this to come into his life. And you have to wonder why. Could you say, yes, he's crazy, and, somebody who would commit 3 murders would also be crazy enough to allow themselves to get caught? But I think that there's also something in that last scene that leads you to believe that he has tremendous guilt. And maybe this is like the most human thing about him, is that he does believe some part of him wants to be punished for what he's done.
That could be true, but there's another thing that cops always say is that everybody talks. Everybody says, they'll find a girlfriend sooner or later. Like, you want to talk. You want to be a person. You want to say the things that have happened in your life, particularly the things that are bothering you,
Yeah.
And like, there's always a situation, or like somebody will be like, like a friend will say to you, "Yeah, I used to live in Kansas till some shit went down. I really can't talk about it. You don't want to know about it, but let's just say some people got hurt real bad." Like, how many times have you heard that from people?
That's very true. That is part of human nature. Is kind of giving up your own secrets, I suppose.
It's interesting too, guys. Just the way he progressed with the bodies. The first murder, the wife, no one ever found a trace of her. The second one gets botched, and then by the third one, he's just leaving the body. He's not even going to attempt.
Here's Alan in PA. Alan.
Hey, cousins.
Hey, cuz.
Hey, what I find most amazing is the first investigation. I mean, the last known whereabouts are the house. They never send a team there. They take his word for this doormat theater in New York. Never question him. When he's questioned years later, they say, "I never saw her." It's just amazing.
Well, you got to remember that family in the New York area is so rich that cops are probably afraid to get too close because they could end up in real trouble over this.
Probably exactly right. They had two inconsistencies in his phone call testimony, and they also knew that he lied about going back and having a drink with his neighbor. Wouldn't you think that might set off some kind of alarm?
But here's the deal. When you are known that you've got great lawyers to back you up, they're going to fucking fillet those cops. If you go back to that Galvez detective, his life was destroyed on the fucking stand. His career was basically destroyed on the stand because the detectives were so much better than him. Who was the detective in the OJ trial that the reason why we invented the word N-bomb or the N-word?
Mark Furman.
Yeah, that guy's career was over because they put him on the stand and beat the shit out of him. Now, I've had Mark Furman come in and do the show before. He's kind of a great detective in the real world of being able to follow clues, blah, blah, blah. He's written books. They put him on television. I think Fox uses him. But because he may have used this word that changed everybody's perception once they got him up there, that everything else that he's good at goes out the door,
Absolutely.
So
Also
what cop would want to fuck with that?
Yeah. But also think about during the time of the Cassie disappearance, he still was very much a part of his family. So he had a lot of pull still. Like now, later, especially since he's been, cast out by his family, he doesn't have that same level of protection. But it's no doubt that the cops were timid to delve into it, and his position in the world and his money.
And the money is still there.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a pretty excellent defense. I'll be very surprised if the bathroom confession ever makes it, because
it might not. I mean, it might not hold up as something that could be used in a lawful way.
And it'll all come down to, hey, he's a weirdo, and handwriting.
Yeah.
All right, Gail. Well, I wish you never would have got me on this show. It really drove me nuts.
Thanks for taking my call.
Talk to you later, buddy.
All right. See you, buddy.
Gail Bennington from the radio show Bennington. Shelby, the weirdness of him being mic'd and how many people have heard you talking to yourself and getting angry with yourself when no one else is around, and you not realizing times that this room is up. You reminded me so much of Durst.
Yeah, it reminded me of myself too. Just
You
seeing
talk to
everything.
yourself when you're alone in that apartment?
Yeah, not as much as Durst, but just if I, drop something, I might say something myself, or that I maybe people, they don't do as much. I mean, I know some people talk to themselves, but maybe I do it a little more. But I mean, this guy was just saying complete paragraphs to himself. It was crazy.
People have heard you say long things and make a lot of noises. A lot of strange noises. And I get reports on it all the time. And a lot of times when you talk to yourself, you're not even aware of it. Fez, you talk to yourself and you're alone in that apartment?
It's usually when I'm in the grips of a real panic of trying to... I'll talk out loud to try to get myself down.
You haven't had a panic in a while, though.
Had panic this morning. Had really bad Friday afternoon. That was a subway one. The subway stopped. The doors closed in the station, and then the train announcer came on and said, "There's something wrong with the train. I'm going to get out and see what's going on in the back." And the fact that the doors were shut and he had left, the guy that has the button that can open the doors, just sent me into a complete meltdown.
You start screaming and clawing at the doors?
I did get up and just started trying to be inconspicuous, but seeing if I could pry the door open.
Art in Orlando. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Ronzi.
Yeah, what's up? What can we do for you?
Oh, I was just saying that during the investigation for what was going on with Durst at the time, that he was, there was information put out by the police for a reward for any information, and people were coming forward. And if your information led to any conviction or anything, that they had a reward, there was a reward and stuff. So people were coming forward. The police were investigating it. Someone said that the police were afraid to get involved and stuff, but they had an open, they put out a reward.
All right, thank you, Art. We're talking about the original trial, the original piece here in New York. You could easily make the argument that they did not follow up, and the sloppy lies that he told, like, oh, I was having coffee and drinks with the guy next door, and then when they went and said, so Robert Durst was here, and they're like, no, we don't drink with him. I know he lives next door to us, but have you guys ever seen the Ryan Gosling movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
So I watched the first episode, and I'm like, I recognize that house. That's from the fucking Ryan Gosling movie. Oh, I guess this is about Ryan Gosling. I guess that was the story. But then that came up later that, yeah, it was. But they actually went and got the actual house. And having Ryan Gosling play him, fucking ridiculous. This is the problem with Hollywood. Because you're not going to sit there and go, oh, I don't trust that Ryan Gosling. Because we've been there with him before, I backed him up through Drive. And he was a fucking maniac in that movie. Jeremy, OKC.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
I was just wondering if I was the only one that found it kind of weird that Sarab guy, the stepson of Susan Berman, just all of a sudden came up with that note with the handwriting on it, and that he had been getting money from Robert Durst, and kind of seemed like maybe it seemed like maybe he took his little chance to be like, oh yeah, I helped solve this thing, but almost like he'd been holding on to that thing, or I noticed it in the past.
Yeah, your point was, had he ever once suspected Robert Durst? No. he didn't. Even if you go back and watch early on, he goes, I don't think it's Robert Durst. He's a nice man. He's been helping me. And some people were like, well, isn't that odd? But I think if, your mom had a rich friend and who decided after she was murdered that they would pay some of your college tuition, I don't think that would come on too odd, because let's face it, it's not a big deal for him. Like if Shelby started paying off somebody's tuition, we're like, oh, that's nuts. But if a really wealthy person, and we're not talking about a guy with $1 million or $2 million bucks tucked away, we're talking about a family fortune, one of the richest families in the country, one of the biggest developers in New York history. And by the way, any of them that have been on TV all seem a little weird to me. Like the whole family, like a lot of rich people do.
And even with, him stealing the sandwich and them saying, that makes him want to get caught, even that I don't think is that big a deal. I think people steal things just to steal things.
See, I don't relate to that at all. I don't relate that if I had $500 in my pocket, I would find it thrilling to steal a sandwich. Like maybe when I was in 6th or 7th grade, before you started partying, you might get off on the buzz of shoplifting. But I think for most people, that's over early. I think people tend to shoplift because they want things.
I remember that when I was even a cashier, though, I'd see people with a full cart and then them just sneak a candy bar into their pocket, and I didn't really want to say something because they're a grown man, and now I have to point out, you have to steal a 79-cent thing, not that big a deal, but it'd still be weird to me.
Would you point it out?
I would, if it was a kid, maybe, but if it was a grown man, now I have to make a big deal out of a 50-cent thing. Forget about it.
I never go grocery shopping, but my chick had the flu, and I was just getting a basket of stuff, and then when I was checking it out, I couldn't find the Advil, and I thought to myself, I must have put the Advil in my pocket, and I started fucking going through my pockets, and then finally, and I'm ready to say, look, I took some Advil, I might have put it in my pocket, I'm ready to make a fucking weird announcement, because I remember thinking to myself, $4? Is that how much fucking Advil costs? Yeah. That seems crazy, because this is how little shopping I actually do, that I remember thinking, that's a nutty amount. But that could have been one of those mistake things, and it already had weirded me out. What if what if it had gone into my pocket and then I'm out front telling someone? So no, I don't understand why it's exciting to steal nothing when you have money. You know what I mean? It's not like the excitement of stealing a car. You're stealing a fucking sandwich. And even he said he didn't know why he did that.
I think that goes back just to his super wealthy upbringing I think he just didn't feel like waiting in line to pay for a sandwich, and he's used to getting a sandwich anytime he wants to.
Didn't he pay for some things and not the sandwich, though? Wasn't that the deal? I might be wrong about that, but it's not like he just went walking out, I think, with a sandwich. I think it's like Shelby said. You pay for some stuff, and you put other shit in your pocket. Here is Sita in Princeton.
Hi, Ron. Hey, Fez. First of all, I want to say I just love Jinx. I thought it was one of the best documentary series I've ever seen. But my two theories were that when he went to the bathroom at the hot mic, my first reaction was the different inflection in the voices, and I kind of felt like he has this weird bipolar evil personality that's the one that steals the sandwich / kills people, and then he's got this kind of weak version of himself that was trying to get caught in a weird kind of psychological way. But then I'm like, is he really that, like, he's too smart for that? Like, is he immediately thinking that I got caught, so I got to play the bipolar defense and then talk crazy to myself? Because how would he not know that Mike was there? Like, seriously. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, somebody, well, I had brought this up because he had done it earlier, but I had the same thing happen to me when I hosted a Star Trek weekend for, I believe it was Channel 48, but I'm not exactly sure. That during one of the things, I went in and took a piss, and when I came back, everybody was laughing because I was still mic'd, and they were all like, man, you really had to take a piss, huh? So, because if you're wearing that mic, it doesn't feel like you're carrying a microphone around. It's a little lavalier thing. So that can happen.
Did you notice that, though? Did you notice the voice difference?
Right away, and I mean, it chilled me.
Yeah.
And yet, I think if we all found out the way that we think inside each person thinks in their head, that it might weird us out. Like, I remember one time Hillary Clinton said, when she goes to sleep at night, she will have, like, conversations with famous historical figures, right? And everybody was like, what? You're fucking nuts. And she goes, well, it's like a thinking thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way of, you can use that person to bounce like a competitive idea off of, and you can actually do things that you wouldn't be able to do. It sounds crazy to the rest of us, but I bet we all do weird little things in our heads that if you start to say them out loud, if you start to say your inner thoughts out loud, that would be scary. I thought there was two personalities there, though. At the end of it, you know, even though I don't know whether that could be proven in court, there were two distinct voices going back and forth in his head. But would we find something that weird in Fez's head, or, God forbid, Shelby's? Possibly. Here's Salty. Hey, Salty.
Yes, I'm investigating some unsolved murders in the New York area, and I was wondering if I could do a documentary on Fez.
Well, it would be a documentary, I believe, where nothing happens. That would be the toughest thing about it.
What about kitty murders?
Would be the same thing over and over. You would see a man stuck in a train, and the train, of course, and train track would represent his life. And it's just stuck there. Fez, I think it would be even more interesting if we found out you had murdered a Mikey D.
No one's heard from him in a while.
I heard from him over the weekend.
Oh, damn.
Robert, Kansas.
Yeah, back in the early 80s, Ronnie, I was in the Navy with a kid that we were in Mexico, Tijuana, and he had $350 in his pocket. He got busted shoplifting a candy bar, man, and spent 2.5 months in a Tijuana jail. Took his senator to get him out. And as soon as he got out, the Navy, they bounced him, sent him home.
Did he ever say why he did it?
I never talked to him after the cops grabbed him and drug him off. Never spoke to him again.
I mean, could it have been an accident that he put a candy bar in his pocket? Or, Shelby, your thing is people steal all the time.
Yeah, like for me, a lot of the time it's just a rule that the whole candy rack by the pharmacy, that's all free. I mean, they're giving you a bag, and there's a thing of M&Ms right here.
You steal?
Not as much as Durst, it seems, but yeah, occasionally you'd sneak a pack of M&Ms for yourself when you're getting a prescription.
But you have the money?
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
Well, in this economy, I mean, sure, you get what you can when you can get it.
So you will, and I'm being serious now.
Yeah.
And you are too?
Yes.
You will shoplift. At first you told this angle from, as a cashier, you saw other people shoplifting.
Yeah.
And now you've switched it to you shoplift small things.
Yeah, when you now seeing that people can get away with it, I mean, now I know, okay, I know when the cashier's looking and not, sure, you snag a Butterfinger for yourself.
But you know there's cameras in all these stores.
Yeah, but they don't check unless nobody's checking those unless there's like a real reason to check them. They don't have a guy just watching them 24/7.
How do you know?
Because I've been back there when like even the cameras need to be checked, where there's an actual theft or they need to see somebody, and the like bosses barely know how to work them.
So you feel like it's the perfect crime. When you're getting something at the pharmacy, get yourself a Butterfinger or an M&M Peanuts.
Right.
And save yourself that, what, I'm going to guess 95 cents?
If that. Less than that.
And what are you going to do when they catch you with that 95-cent M&Ms?
Be like, oh, the same thing. I think I was just holding this, put it in my pocket. Here's a buck. I mean, do we really need to call the cops over this?
Strange. And for you, it's just small savings.
Sure. I mean, I was behind the register when a bunch of people came in and attempted to use a stolen credit card to buy like thousands of dollars with those like Visa. They have those like $500 gift cards.
Mhm.
And I like every little thing they were trying to pass off. It was totally obvious. So I just like didn't sell it to them. But then I like, called the police, called the like other managers over, and they were standing back there like at this big like cage where they had all the recording equipment going, asking me, hey, do you know how to like go scroll back through the timeline on this thing? Like, it's
I actually know some people who work at a big department store in a rural area that they don't stop anyone from shoplifting. They just think it's not worth the hassle of what you have to do. And people just, when they steal stuff, they just consider it part of the business. Everything else gets marked up a little bit to make up for that. Because they're like, hey, if you get accused of some blah, 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 and to have the security, and then you got to go to court, it's just not worth it. And I was shocked with that story. Matt, Strong Island.
Hey, Ronnie, doesn't that documentary remind you of Primal Fear with Ed Norton and Richard Gere? Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen that movie. Like the end of that movie when Ed Norton is like, he pretended the whole time he had multiple personalities, and that's how he got off on insanity. And then at the end, he was like, there was never any good version of me. It was always the bad version, Marty. Thanks for,
It's funny? At no point did you do an impression until you said Marty the way he did.
Marty?
And then you said
That's
it just
why I'm
like in the
not on
movie.
radio, Ronnie, and you are, all right?
But there's no connection between the two. You brought up, exactly what happened in that, but there's no similarities to what we're talking about here. He's never once used multiple personalities as a defense, and but I did hear that he was talking to himself the last couple days in New Orleans, so he might have known this was coming. Or maybe he's just nutty and he talks to himself.
They caught him using a fake name at a hotel too, so he's still acting weird like that.
Yeah, there's so many things that can happen. All right, we will take a break right now. Lots more to get with. If you're up on the iBank today, here's some of the big stories. Jay Moore happy and a lot this past weekend on Showtime. Big show for him, and did very, very well. A backdrop almost fell on Patton Oswalt. Also, there's a Elton John wants us all to boycott what company, Fez?
Dolce and Gabbana.
We'll talk about that when we get back, as well as anti-robot protests that ended up at South by Southwest. Finally, a protest that I can get involved with. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
Ron and Fez on Raw Dog. Raw Dog.
Comedy hits.
Channel 99.
It's the Ron and Fez Show. (866) Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Read up some of the tweets that are being sent to us. John Warren says, I fucking hate Shelby more and more every time he opens his mouth. Greg says, Shelby just admitted to stealing candy. Wow, he really is, Fez. No candy dish is safe around those two. Shelby just came up with the whitest interaction after being caught shoplifting. Here's the money. Do we have to call the cops? Tim says Shelby never been taught right from wrong. Seriously?
I get stealing an iPad is wrong, but you've never seriously. That guy has never, stolen a pack of M&Ms, a Snickers
When you're a
bar.
child, yeah. I think when you're a child, you do all this stuff. I don't think it's acceptable adult behavior. I think if you're going to steal when you're an adult, you got to put a fucking mask on and go in guns blazing. You know what I mean? You got to be taking hostages. To go in and just steal a pack of M&Ms when you're an adult is, I think, weirder than doing like a diamond heist. I really do. I think a diamond heist makes sense to me because that's life changing. To have money in your pocket and steal M&Ms, that's just odd. I put it up there with the kind of people who go to the Candy Island and masturbate. I don't see the difference between stealing a pack of M&Ms and masturbating. I see them both as being mental defects. All right, Fez, what's bothering you today, big cat? You're over there. You're wringing your hands. Something's on your mind.
Hooray for Elton John for starting this
Hooray
boycott.
for Elton John.
Against Dolce and Gabbana, whatever these guys' names are.
Why, if you've had your life in radio, would you ever cheer for anyone starting a boycott? It's the exact opposite of what we do. What is it about a boycott that's so thrilling?
I just get angry when people try to
express themselves.
Well, I agree with Elton John that these people degraded his children.
They don't even know him. Why don't you explain the story before we get into the rest of it? Exactly, because here's the thing. I cannot boycott them. You know why?
Why?
I eat Dolce and bananas, and I find them to be delicious.
It's Dolce and Gabbana.
Yeah, that's a Spanish way of saying Dole bananas. So go ahead and explain the whole story before we get to the end and before we're cheering on Elto.
These Italian designers, they did an interview where they came out against gay marriage.
Well, they are gay, right?
They are gay. They have dated each other before.
Mm-hmm.
They're against gay marriage, and they're against in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
And called anyone who has a child that way, called their kids synthetic, and that it's not right. It shouldn't be happening. These kids shouldn't be born from a rent-a-uterus.
Uh-huh.
So that's how Elton John had his kids. That's how a lot of people have their children. And he took offense to that.
But why say we're no longer going to go buy our Dolce bananas?
Because he doesn't want to buy from a store that's intolerant towards his own children.
So
who thinks that they're some sort of freaks of nature.
Right. So the difference of opinions means that we should attack the product. And what if we say, why leave it at that? Let's not go to a mall who will do business with those people. That's the kind of trouble that we run into all the time in this country. It's the type of things where people can go, oh, if Walmart is selling a Marilyn Manson record, let's not go to Walmart. So Walmart pulls a Marilyn Manson record. And what have we got by the end of the day? I mean, it's easy enough for you and I to say we disagree with these two Italian gay men. You know what I mean? We disagree with them. I don't think, I mean, if we're going to call these synthetic babies, I think we're at the point now that somebody in your family or friend circle has had some kind of thing done like this. So we're in no jeopardy in people losing the rights to do either one of these things, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So why are we not going to Dolce and Gabbana? By the way, why is the guy being mad over gay marriage played at a fucking wedding and made money at a guy who's got a radio show who came out against gay marriage? When does he decide to turn his boycott on and off? That's the thing that annoys me. Maybe if they gave him money, he'd sing a fucking theme song for him.
And they're all pissed off, like, a lot of times at, like, Chick-fil-A because they make their opinion public. But I like to shop at, like, H&M, but I have no idea what the people that own that company's opinions are. It's not a big deal.
For the first time ever, Shelby came out against you.
Oh, he's constantly against me.
Let's see it. I see this as Elton's just trying to boycott gay people. I find it a little uncomfortable.
Elton was against gay marriage for a long time.
I'll tell you what, I've been against Elton for probably everything from Rock of the Westies on. But you get before that, and I'm a big, big fan.
Yeah. Sorry, that's all I have.
I think it's plenty. Smirking.
Oh, he'll smirk tomorrow.
Someone saved my life tonight. Sugar Bear. Remember, that was a song about how much he liked his girl fiance, but just couldn't marry her at the last minute. The last lines of that fucking song could have been, because of your lack of cock and balls. Tim says, I can honestly say that as an adult, I've never stolen anything, but when I was a kid, I stole a yo-yo from a Christian bookstore. I think, though, the weirdness of just stealing little things weirds me out more than anything. So Bald Guy says, so Fez, you're telling me to boycott because they are anti-gay gay men? Odd.
No, I'm talking about the in vitro fertilization comment. They don't have to get gay married if they don't want to. But they shouldn't try to stop other people from doing it.
They're not stopping anybody from doing anything. None of these things are in jeopardy, but because what these two Italian queens have said. Nothing. There's no body that has anything to do with this. But we're supposed to boycott because they basically have a difference of opinion than Elton. That's why he's doing. I mean, they're not stopping gay marriage. They're just expressing their own weird Italian, probably Catholic fucking background that's all locked into this. No, I don't get it. I don't think I would be up for a boycott if someone said, don't go to a movie because there's a Scientology director and we're against Scientology. I think that you can pretty much say to yourself, these two guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
If there was a place I really liked and I went all the time, they'd have to pretty much attack me personally to make me stop going there.
Adam, go ahead.
Hey, buddies, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, is Dose and Garbanzos, are they like the Tea Party of the gays?
It seems like they are the teabag party of the gays. Dan, in Florida.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
I know a couple of gay ladies, and they have two test tube babies, and I have kind of a problem with that because both of these kids are looking around for their dad, and they don't have a dad. And my problem with it is there's so many kids out there that need to be adopted that I don't feel like gay people, lesbians, or dudes that are gay should be able to create more children in this world when there's children that need to be adopted and rescued, and you could probably find one that almost looks like you. You know what I'm saying, man? What's your thought on that?
Well,
I'm
Dan,
not trying to
if
be-
you had a store, we would boycott you right now. But
But that sounds like it should go for anybody. Why would anyone add one more kid, gay or straight, parents, to the world? Then everybody
You're
should
right.
adopt according
You're
to
right.
your
You're
plan.
right. You're right. It should be for straight, gay, everybody. You're right, Fez. I didn't even consider that, man. But it should be anybody who wants to have a kid who can't make one should have to adopt one, man. It's fucking crazy that we're creating babies in a fucking test tube when there's millions of kids around our own country. Shit, we're going to fucking Russia and China and Thailand for fucking adopting kids. That should be illegal. Our people in this country should have to adopt only American kids. Find homes for these kids.
Can I tell you something?
Stop making, yeah.
Anybody would want a white baby.
No shit. Thank God I'm white.
Yeah, they
God
adopt.
damn.
I mean, the adopted white babies go so fast that basically
Well,
you
even
got to
they-
go into, African countries or Asian countries, because the white babies just fly out the store.
And the mixed ones too. Those are always a favorite.
They're a favorite of mine. The beautiful Lisa Bonet. I don't know if you can get more beautiful than if you mix white and black. And I'm not trying to hurt Spanish people and Asians when I'm saying that. But I'm just saying I like the swirl to it. Stop your leg and just chill. Everything's chill. We're stopping Dolce & Gabbana. By the way, I don't even know what they sell. I'm going to guess Cabanas.
They sell everything. Purses, shoes, sunglasses, clothes.
Cars?
I don't think they do cars.
I don't know. I heard somebody say everything earlier. Can I get a sprocket there?
That you might be able to.
Math books?
No.
It's the might. I need the definitive answer in these things. I need to find out what Dolce and or... Because I love Dolce, but I hate that fucking Cabana. Here's Al in Maryland. Al.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
I don't know if they sell sprockets or not, but there was an app introduced last year, a phone app, that was somewhat related to this. It was called Bipartisan, B-U-Y, and it showed a publicly held company's political leanings. So if someone like Chick-fil-A was against gay rights, then you could look that up and then choose not to eat there, I guess, was the premise. So I don't know how successful it was. It was in the news a bit last year, and I haven't heard any more about it. But
So basically, we can find out if we're Democrats, we can say, I'm not buying from that Republican bastard. And then if we're Republicans, we're like, I'm not going to buy from that Democrat wimp,
exactly. I'm not
socialist,
sure where the
prick
libertarians
face.
fall on that, but
That's the way the world should run. We should not respect each other's opinions. What we should respect is that we're buying things from people who vote the same way we do.
I will not purchase your goods and services based on how you feel about gay and or straight people.
I'm not going to buy from anybody who supports Thursday Night Football. Could I have some of that? I feel it adds one extra game that I can't keep up with. So, Fez, have you ever bought anything from them before?
No, I can't imagine I've ever gone into a Dolce & Gabbana store.
Then the boycott is on and pretty easy for you to do.
This one I can stick with.
I love it when they let us start smoking in here. So cool. So very fucking cool. Who else you want to boycott, Fez? Serious for ever letting Anthony on the air?
No.
Do you respect that boycott? The threat of a boycott, actually, there wasn't even a boycott. It's the threat of a boycott that makes large corporations worry now. Like poor Dolce and his little friend Cabana. Cabana? Yes, Dolce? Get in here. The test tube babies is a weird deal. We don't even think about it much, but I think it's fairly common now, right?
Yeah, even they and it's so expensive. Like people
How
have
much
to
is it?
double mortgage their homes.
How much
to
is
do
it?
Things. Thousands of dollars.
Come on, everything is thousands of dollars. Fucking jeans are thousands of dollars. Give me a price.
At least $12,400.
That seems like a gimme. You know how much money it costs even to have a baby? How expensive it is to throw an extra 12 G's on to get the one that you want?
Yeah, for adoption, they're just giving those things away, and they're already born. You don't have to,
But you're
have
not
to wait.
getting the kind that you want. You're not. This is a designer baby.
I like to gamble with it.
I want one that's good at track, but not so much field. Jordan.
Hey, how are you guys? I'm just calling to boycott daylight savings time.
All right, thanks. Lois.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I just want to agree with your psychotic caller that was talking about the baby stuff. Why should we have babies or create babies when there's a lot of animals out there that need adoption? So just get a fucking cat.
I'll tell you this. You put a monkey in a goddamn short suit, and I'm a big fan. There's nothing funnier, in my opinion. And then if you get them to somehow kind of lip sync when you're playing jazz, Red Rose Tea right off the bat says it all to me. Those monkeys in suits are hysterical. I watch any fucking show that has one. Look, does he really think he's playing that trombone?
He's wearing the shoes.
And what's a monkey doing playing a stand-up bass? Red Rose Tea. Vince Papali. You were on the Ron and Fez show.
Vince from Delaware?
Vince Papali, Mr. Invincible.
That's right. Best receiver ever. I wanted to say my wife and I recently, this year, did IVF and had two beautiful babies.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did. It cost about it's $10,000 a pop. So you do it until you have a kid. So it might not work. So it might cost you, like if you do it 5 times, that's $50,000. And I mean, it was my sperm and her egg, and she carried the baby. But I didn't think it was. I don't call it a synthetic babies. I mean, they're two beautiful little girls.
Yeah, but they're made out of plastic. Now, what happens? So once you get the egg fertilized, then it goes into your wife?
Yeah.
Or a surrogate?
Your wife, or if your wife can't carry it, then you get a surrogate, and then they would carry your kid or kids.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. This has zero chance of these two Italian weirdos being able to stop from happening. We're under zero duress that we need to protect this because, like I said, if it hasn't happened in your family, it's happened in your circle of friends, people that in the past would have not been able to have babies. They tend to make actually better parents because they thought a lot more. They put a lot more thought into it than a person like me who just went, okay, we'll do it.
As opposed to a broken condom or just a missed opportunity. Yeah, and we both love our kids. We tried for years, and it wasn't going to happen. So I don't see why anybody would want to ban that.
Well, no one is. It's just two weird Italian gay guys who, sit around all day and try to fucking figure out what purses women should wear.
Well, I'm not going to eat any Italian bananas anymore. That's just the end of it.
You know what? That's your right, but they're delicious. They're fucking delicious.
Go Eagles.
There we go. Go Eagles in our whole new team that didn't exist last year, and we're cheering for people we used to cheer against. Here's our friend Michelle, West Virginia.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey.
That guy that called about, how gay men need to adopt. Adopting for a gay couple, a male or female, it's a nightmare.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's hard enough for a straight couple. That's why a lot of couples go to Russia, China. The rules are not so much in Russia, but other countries are a little more relaxed. But in this country, there's still the thing, well, if we let a gay man have a baby, what's he going to do? Is he going to be a pedophile? Is he going to turn the kid gay? What's going to go
good
on?
questions. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, they are
Those are
really
bad questions.
But anyway, so it's a nightmare for them to adopt. So why not do, if you can get a surrogate, you look at it this way, you're giving a woman a job, then more power to you. And,
a lot of that money goes to her for she sell her egg?
well, the woman would carry the baby, and she'd get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not. So, I mean, there are women that make $25,000.
I remember I did on the show before, and the majority of the guys on my show said that they would never be sperm donors, even to a friend. And I'm like, why? And they go, I think I would just want the baby. I'm like, that's the oddest thing.
Well, and once they found out how much it costs to raise that baby, they wouldn't be so, hot to do that. But I have another comment. I think you said, do they make cars? Well, Dolce & Gabbana, they don't make the cars, but they did do a limited edition interior for Ferrari. So, and they're kind of on the avant-garde side of fashion. And Elton John is actually a Donatella Versace fan.
Oh, so this is actually like if Michael Jordan went out and told everybody not to buy Converse.
Right. There might be a little something else going on there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, good call. Michelle, I'm going to send you into the big-ass prize closet because you opened up our minds today. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. This is Betty. Betty, get it ready and rock steady when Johnny strikes up the band.
Okay.
What can we do for you, darling?
I work for CPS in Phoenix, Arizona, and we adopt gay couples and gay singles all the time. So if you really want a baby, come on out. We've got lots.
What kind of babies you got?
We have more teenagers than we have babies, but we got any kind, any color. We don't care.
So what age teen am I looking at? 14 to 17?
You can get babies, so anywhere from 0 to 18, we'll adopt them to you.
How quickly could I get a 15-year-old if I want it?
A 15-year-old, if their rights, parental rights have been terminated, it wouldn't take very long. You just have to go through all the process.
I might need 7 to 9 of them come harvest season.
Okay, sure.
Betty, you're out there trying to get kids.
On that.
You're trying to find children homes, though, huh?
Absolutely.
No, you're doing God's work. Big ass prize closet for you, Betty. Big ass prize as a way for me and God to say thank you, Betty. So you're Betty. Is Anthony back today? Bring Anthony in. We haven't seen Anthony, our intern, for a week. Haven't seen him since a week back. And really great kid, good guy. Matter of fact, had just done his first bit for us that you were going to take the stick on the show as an intern.
Yeah.
When tragedy came to your life, what exactly happened, buddy?
My brother passed away. Had to be Friday. I talked to him on Friday, so it had to be between Friday and Saturday. They still don't know yet.
And we don't know what was the cause or what happened?
Not yet, because there's still autopsies and everything like that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I knew what it was, but we're just going to wait until we know what's going on.
How's your family holding up?
In the beginning, not good. My mom was a wreck. My father was a wreck, which was really that was a shock seeing me, because no matter what, I feel like he just couldn't get rattled, and he was real rattled about it. But like I said, I had a good conversation with him on Friday, and I saw him on Thursday. So in a way, I'm all right. Like a couple people in my family didn't have really that good of a conversation with him last time, so they're taking it just as hard. But we talked about Iron Man 3, and he was annoying me about going to see the what movie was it? The Avengers movie. He didn't understand why they picked Ultron or something like that.
Yeah.
And
he's very small. How old is your brother?
He was 37.
Wow.
So he was 12 years older than me. So when I used to sleep, I never used to like to sleep alone when I was little. So I used to sleep in his room. And when he would come home, I don't know, probably drunk, and he would just make me watch like Heat. I was like 6 years old. I was watching Heat. I would watch Andrew Dice Clay stand up. Anything he was in the mood for, I would just sit and watch.
Yeah.
And like I said, he helped me with the iBang piece. And
Is that right?
Yeah. So it was going to be tough for me to come in on Monday and do it. I would have just lost it completely. But I'm all right now. I mean, he wouldn't want me fucking sitting and moping.
Right.
He'd be pissed. He'd be pissed.
Well, we'll get around to doing that later this week, but please give your folks,
of course,
regards.
Yeah, you guys have been great. I mean, Shelby emailed me. Chris has been great. So
yeah,
it's been great. Thank you for everything.
Well, you know, when stuff like this happens, just sometimes it even hits later. So be very, very careful.
I haven't. It hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah,
and it probably won't until. Probably like on the way when I used to call him when I used to walk to Port Authority because I had no one else to talk to because he was always home. So I'll probably have, I don't know, play music or something. It's going to be weird.
You know what's funny when you bring it up? I had the same relationship with my older brother when it came to movies, only ours were much more classic movies. Like he was an old school movie fan. And there's so many parts of my personality that I think are mine, but were probably adapted from him.
Not me. I'm all him. I'm all him, my other brother. Everyone says it too. I got all my taste in comedy and movies from him, so it's tough.
It's great to have that connection, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's great to have that connection.
And I got all of his, like, he was writing, I don't know what the, like, I have to sort through it. It's like 13, like, full notebooks, because he was a big writer. That's what got me into writing. Like, I wanted to start writing because I wanted to annoy him, in a way, because he thought he was the only good writer in the family. So I used to write all the time, but he had, like, 14, 15 stocked notebooks filled with Game of Thrones type shit that I have no idea what's going on. So I got to weed through it and maybe try to finish it for him.
That's really sweet. Send me in the other intern. Okay. It's Anthony, and V. V came up with the idea of clipping some things together in my show prep. That has been a real life changer. Anthony, of course, is the first one to get some stuff up on the iBang, and you're going to present it on the air. And I just want to point out something to you, MK.
Okay.
You have fallen so far in my eyes, and Anthony is now #1, and there's no way for you to catch him.
No way?
No. As a matter of fact, you're failing your internship as of right now.
As of right.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Because
How do I
you've
tell my
done
school
nothing.
that?
Who cares about you and your school? I don't care if you drop out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write on something that you stole from here and get that out of the way.
He doesn't even knit.
Yeah, you don't do anything. You know what? Stay away from Anthony because he's top of the rock right now, and I don't want him dragged down by you. All right.
The best part is on Friday, my mother's like, "Do I have to start teaching you how to knit? Is that what I have to do to get you on the air more?" Like they love him.
Yeah, you know what? Tell her not to worry about it. Tell your mother I hate this kid, and you win the competition for me. Here's Garrison. Hey, Garrison, how you doing? Garrison, I'm gonna try you one more time. We got you, buddy.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they want to do in vitro fertilization for gay couples, and that they should have to do it like the original gay couple that had a baby, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. And then Arnold just...
Well, he wasn't gay, I don't think. And I don't think he had DeVito's baby, did he? Is that how it worked out?
I don't think it...
No, he used his sperm, and then scientists egged her or whatever, and she didn't know about it.
Yeah.
It was a shit movie, but...
No.
It was,
You thought it was great?
Junior?
Yeah.
That
Junior's a good movie.
freaked me out because I didn't understand the concept of a C-section yet.
Yeah.
But I knew like where babies came from a woman, so the whole time I was just like cringing, thinking that this baby was gonna have to come out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's dick. But now looking back, I'm glad Arnie didn't have to go through that.
You love looking back at your stupid days, don't you?
Yeah,
your
sure.
stupid time. It's fun for you. Josh. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, I just want to say I dated a test tube baby in high school, and like she was, I don't know what they do, but that genetic shit. I mean, she was beautiful, blonde hair, blue eyes, she had big tits, a fat ass. I mean,
Yeah,
her mom
because you
was a
could
pig.
design her
I don't know.
properly that way. The parents can
Yeah.
actually check off those boxes.
Yeah.
Like,
Amazing.
JJ, Jay Moore, says he wants, his kid to be a defensive lineman. Now, I've looked at that kid. He's going to be an offensive lineman. He's not going to have the defensive skills. Put that up so Anthony can see. And when we all look at it, okay, avert your eyes because you don't get to see all the stuff Anthony
No,
can.
I'm not worthy.
No, you're a straight F in here. And I'm failing V too. Oof. What do you think? That'll be trouble. She'll be back later. You guys
She'll be
fear me
knocking
a
on the
little
door.
bit? You guys, look at this kid. He's 3 years old. This is so adorable. Look at the size of him.
3?
Yeah. Now look at the size of that big wagon and look at how he's pulling it. Like a beast. Like there isn't even a thing.
Look, there's two people pulling the
two
same
adults,
wagon.
2 adults. And look, he's dumb enough to wonder if stuff just appeared in the wagon while he was pulling it. I don't know whether they're taking him out pumpkin chunking or what they're doing. That kid is adorable. Look at his tree trunk legs.
Maybe he'll be a halfback. They got the big legs.
Fullback at
Yeah,
best.
fullback.
I mean, that kid, there he is, just hitting his belly.
You enjoy your lunch? Say it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, I think he was a vitro baby, too. Because JJ always had a little trouble getting the sperm out. He only has a couple. There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, I just read in. They went and dug into his ball sack and only found 1 sperm. 1. And were able to take it out of there, I guess, with tweezers and put it into the egg and get something going.
I'd be pissed if I did need the in vitro fertilization, yet I look at like athletes just going all over the country with random women and they manage to have like 12 kids when they're not even trying.
Why do you bring it up to athletes? Why couldn't it be to anyone?
Well, that's the only
who
ones you
has-
hear about.
I mean, if you've ever... No, it isn't. The only ones you've ever heard about. You need to watch Fox News. But there's always those things that people who have trouble having babies and they're like, we're the ones who want babies. And then you hear about all these people who get pregnant time and time again when they don't want babies. And it is very, very sad. But no one ever said that it was based on merit. You know what I mean? It's just this weird luck of the draw. Now we have gotten around it, and we have little science babies. Little science babies. I think it would be better to have babies like that are unwanted, like to sign up for the in vitro and then go, oh my God, that was an accident. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Can you pick and choose who you want? You'd be like,
Well, you're going to be able to sit and pick what you want your kid to do. Do you want them to have strong hearing, strong eyesight? Are you looking for upper body strength? Do you want beauty over anything else? Now, some people get weirded out by that, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that would freak me out.
Choose a beautiful, smart baby. You want the best for your kids, right? Isn't that what parents say? So why would you say, oh, just let it be luck of the draw?
It seems more natural just to have that random selection.
But as part of the random selection could be a weak heart. I mean, if it's the whole thing of natural selection, why are you trying to get them into good schools? Why don't you just say, hey, let them try to fucking figure it out like cavemen did? It's the interaction
I think
that's
you
always
choose
fun.
that they just not be mentally challenged, and then the part of growing up.
But on
is,
what level?
No, like autism or
I would
Down
look at
syndrome.
you and say
or,
that you're mentally challenged.
Not mentally.
You are. Look at your ability with logic, or the fact that you go into the other room and bark and do stuff, or when you know that you're on the bubble with stuff, and then Fez catches you, making memes. And how many times have I talked to you, Shelby, and you promised me it'll never happen again?
Several.
Several meaning how many? I really want you to know.
Dozens.
No, you see dozens as several? Because that seems mentally challenged. But as many times I'm trying to help you, and I've done it here with these guys, with the boss, you find yourself back into it. Or somebody else, I heard Shelby barking in the other room. I would have loved to go back while you were still in the egg and fix those things.
Fix, like, specifically, or just, like, eliminate me totally?
At least down to the point where you could follow the conversation and know that it's not about aborting you.
Right.
That you would be able to say, I'd be able to fix these flaws in your personality and help you. What parent wouldn't want to do that for a child? Well, let's say it with you, okay?
Okay.
Would you want would you want a kid that would knit?
Yeah, I would definitely want them.
So that would be one of the things that you would put in over math skills.
See, it's an interesting scenario, but I feel like I would, because personally I'm not great at math, so I would rather give them the math skills, and then I'm sure they would be able to learn the knitting skills to follow.
The future would be so much better for you if you could do math than anything else. You know what I mean? Like right now, engineering seems to be the job, and yet you're not going to stand any chance. I mean, we're getting robots, right? And we're getting drones, and you're good at knitting. I mean, the future. You just failed your internship, a radio internship.
On top of the knitting,
I want Anthony to feel better about himself. I want him to be the only one who passed this semester. He's been through a lot. You and V, no.
Listen, don't V will be down here in 15 minutes if you keep saying that. She'll be
You
beating
guys
down
are
the door.
afraid of V, huh?
I'm scared shitless of V.
Why? What has she done that scared you?
She just looks like. First of all, she's got that ghetto like.
All right,
she
that's
turns
racism.
it on. She turns it on.
That's racism.
She's like, she'll be like, hey, what's going on? And she'll be like, yo, you know what happened one day? Shit.
Yeah, she
I
does.
want to talk about this, but so it's like that scares the shit out of me a little bit that she can just turn that on and off.
Yeah.
You just turned it on and off.
I don't know, but she like I'm from like Nutley, New Jersey.
First of all, can I just tell you something? He's been through a lot. You ever make another crack like that again, I'm going to snap your neck like a breadstick. God, Anthony, you're an A student. Everything's great.
Now I lost my train of thought.
Oh, God damn it, Shelby.
No, but she's got like, and I really think she can beat the shit out of me.
Yeah,
if
I
it
know
came
she
down
can.
to it.
I know she can.
Him, forget it.
Are you not a fighter?
No,
Okay.
definitely not. Words.
All right.
I use words.
I know that. I remember where your words out on the street. I'm sorry.
Exactly. You witnessed it.
I'm sorry. Queen Elizabeth says she makes pretty ginger babies. And then she wrote hashtags egg to sell. As long as they're girls, everybody loves gingers, but it's hard for boys. Here's my buddy John in Mass. Hey, John.
Hey, buddies.
Hey.
I'm going to boycott Walgreens and CVS because they've both come out against cigarettes. Hashtag smoke them if you got them.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em, Johnny. Peace. Kevin, North Carolina.
Shelby, what the fuck? You're getting rid of all the autistic people
That's pretty
through your
offensive,
genetic manipulation?
Yeah, I think you'd decide if you could have an autistic kid or not. You would decide otherwise.
But so, boom, there goes Kanye. He's gone.
So why
Fucking
would you limit it to that? If you're going to be okay with you choosing certain things, why would it be other traits that you want to leave up to the fates?
Look at like tons of famous comedians are just like sort of crazy and out there.
Look at tons of famous inventors who are autistic and famous actors who are autistic.
Yeah. I think
Autistic
President
people,
Taft and Polk were probably both fucking autistic.
Autistic people have done some pretty amazing things to push the species along. But where would your thing? How high up would a sense of humor be for you, MK, when you're picking out your designer baby?
How high? Out of a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I would say an 8.
How about whether you could choose a boy or a girl? Would you want that?
I would choose a boy.
Every single time?
Yeah.
And that's the date?
No.
Okay, I didn't know where you're going. It just seemed like you go.
Well, because I would definitely want multiple children, too.
Right.
Maybe like 3.
Okay. One of each? Would you want any girls?
If anything, only one. But really, I would just prefer girls.
Let me tell you how the world works, and I want to explain this to everyone.
I'm learning today.
If you want more than one, if you want boys and girls, girls go first. There's nothing better than an older sister and nothing worse than an older brother. So the girl has to go at the beginning of this. You don't want the boy being the oldest because they tend to push people down and fart on them. They come behind them.
Guilty.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I used to get Stretch Armstronged.
Is that right? They would just yank you?
Yeah, they would take one would take my hands, the other would take my feet, and they would just walk backwards as far as they could. And then after I fell, they would put me in the Boston Crab.
Now, know this. Girls don't do things like that.
No.
What girls do is try to comb your hair when you don't want it. You know what I mean? They. Here is Bryce in Canada. Bryce.
Hey, Ronnie, be a million and change today, bud.
Million change.
Yeah, I'd be a test tube baby. I'd wish. My mom had a heart attack at 40, and my dad at 45, and I've had one at 32, and I'm a healthy guy. Other than that.
So you'd want to fix the hereditary heart problem.
Yeah, no kidding. My best jeans are in my closet.
I don't know why, but when people are saying like, "Oh, this sounds scary," but why would you want a baby that was later in life going to have diabetes? Why wouldn't you want to? Why would you want a baby that was going to, need glasses if you could correct it early on? You know what I mean? Why? Why would you want a baby that was bad at math? I mean, for the baby's sake. You want to, if we're going to Gattaca this, you want a Jude Law baby. You don't want a fucking Ethan Hawke baby.
Depends. Ethan Hawke from when?
Training Day? Movie Gattaca.
Training Day?
Oh,
Gattaca.
Gattaca got pushed around and was forced to fucking smoke dust without even wanting to. I thought he came off like a bitch in that movie.
Training Day?
Yes, Training Day.
In the beginning, he did.
Yeah. And then by the end, you were proud of him?
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather have Denzel as a kid.
It's true.
Wouldn't you want a kid like LeBron James?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Who would you want a kid like?
Who would I want a kid like?
Yeah.
Well, besides someone that's exactly like me.
Not many people exactly.
No,
like you.
I guess
Do you
not.
want a kid doing a comb over when he's 22, or you want a nice full head
I
of
would
hair?
obviously fix the hairline.
Yeah.
So that would be the hereditary. No, maybe someone, someone like Barack Obama. I think he's got a lot of
All right, so you'd want
principle.
Right, so you would want a baby just like Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be your perfect baby.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a good guy.
All right. So
Who's dying?
Oh my God, I needed that. I did need that.
And who would be your perfect son or daughter?
Somebody who can catch a football.
That's all you want.
It's pretty much the gist. Someone who can run maybe like a 4.3 40.
Okay, so you want a 4.3. You want a...
If Deion Sanders was available as a kid, I'd take him.
Okay.
Not Barack Obama.
What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that answer?
Seriously, do you think Deion's parents would be more proud of him than Barack Obama's parents? He got to be president.
Did the Super Bowl shuffle a couple times. It was the best. Is he considered the best defensive back ever?
He's up there.
Yeah. So come on.
Let's face it. If you're even going to have Deion for a kid, you'd want him to be able to tackle, because he was fucking embarrassing with his inability to tackle. That fucking arm thing that he did.
And he's got to be able to hit the ball.
Personally, too. I'd take a Ronnie Lott over a Deion Sanders any day, but I'm more old school when it comes to that.
Ronnie Lott. Barack Obama. He wants his kid to be Barack Obama. That's just so funny to me. That I would pick like Deion Sanders, and you would.
I think it's funny that you picked him. What is it? I don't even understand.
That's why you're failing.
That's why I'm failing.
He wins every argument for the rest of the semester.
Well, I got to learn from him now. So
you couldn't. You could never learn. Not in a million years.
I got to fix the smart gene too. Apparently.
California only has 1 year of water left, so drink up. If you're living in California. This also up on the wire. They showed pictures of the gym from the Titanic. The gym from the Titanic. Now, they said the guy who ran the gym decided to go down with the ship. I think he thought that the Indian clubs were going to float. But
What I took away from this is how much prettier women have gotten since then and how uglier men have gotten since then.
Well, first of all, I've never heard of this theory before, but I will say I agree with you, and I never even thought of this. I've never thought that women back in the 1910s or even 1920s were attractive.
I mean, everybody's always
everybody in the club.
Everybody is always running down Eleanor Roosevelt for being so hideous, but half of these women look like an Eleanor Roosevelt.
First of all, I don't know if everyone runs down Eleanor Roosevelt. I don't know about that crowd that you're running
They're always
with.
going in on Eleanor Roosevelt.
But I don't find the guys all that attractive. Give me an attractive guy here.
I think this guy, he's in the last photo, he's moderately attractive.
All right, let me go for Fez.
Yes.
Fez is I'm going to call you a wannabe gay, Fez. Does that work for you?
No, I'm just gay.
Well, have you dated any men?
No.
Wannabe gay. Do you find these 1910 soon-to-be drowning victims more or less than attractive than modern men?
I find them much less attractive than the
Really?
modern man. Yeah.
I think they could they're not like all 10s, but they could all be featured in one of those like old-timey ads for like a cigar or something. None of them are just like beastly. Even the fat guy, he's pretty put together with his juggling technique and his whole like suit got on.
You're being so specific for the listening audience
Sorry.
that it's one of the reasons you get less mic time than you would have. The gym is hysterical.
Look how happy they all are.
And you know that, yeah, they have no
They
idea.
have no idea.
It's so sad when you think of that they're heading towards an iceberg.
The gym's been invented, but not gym clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
standing out.
First of all, most people back then owned one suit. You know what I mean? There were no sweats in those days. I guess there was those kind of gray things that kind of ruled the roost for 40, 50 years. But let's go back to the attractiveness. I will agree with Shelby that women from that age don't seem so attractive. But Fez, you're not leaping in that men seem attractive.
No, I'm not getting the attractive guy vibe off of all of these people that just look these guys that just look so stone-faced.
Well, they're not posing for pictures. These are action shots in the gym.
But there's not a good-looking guy in the bunch there.
Yeah, but the reason that they're stone-faced is their kids probably just have TB. You know what I mean? And polio. Like, there was a lot more trouble there. What are you going to be happy about?
A lot of the guys, like, they're not like models, but when I look at like these old pictures or the videos where everybody looks like they're moving around really fast,
everybody in the club getting tipsy.
It just looks like a bunch of ugly women and a bunch of guys that have been cloned.
All right, but you know, Shelby's thing is, I'm going to take it back even further. There are a lot of women in the 80s that don't look so hot now when you go back and look at them. You know what I mean? Like, they were considered the most beautiful women of the 80s, and you might give them like a 7 or an 8 now. Like, I don't think anyone would really find Lonnie Anderson attractive these days. And yet, at the time, she was a big deal.
I used to see reruns of Growing Pains, and the daughter on that show, like the first couple seasons, she would never be allowed on a TV show these days.
I don't know. There's always unattractive kids on TV shows. I mean, check out Modern Family. You know what I mean? I don't want to run them all down, but here's Laurie in Syracuse.
Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Faz. Hi, everyone.
Hey, sweetie.
I was calling just to say, oh, my goodness, condolences to Anthony and his family.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And, you know, I was wondering, I mean, Fezzy lost his father. So did Shelby, and now this, and whatever it is that happened to Chris. Is there like some sort of jinx on your show, or?
We've always been jinxed.
Oh, no.
But the thing about it is we keep smiling right through the jinxes. Because you think this terrible tragedy that happened with our number one intern, Anthony.
He's a great intern.
Yeah, he's the best we've ever had, the best of all time.
Is this my mother?
Shelby recently lost his dad. Fez lost his power of speech. You look over here.
Okay, lost his hair.
That's true. And also ended up failing this
And failed, so
semester
that's a loss.
along with V. And I don't care how ghetto she gets.
I have one question
Yeah.
for Shelby. Does he know that it's not especially?
No.
And when he grows up, that he'll say especially instead?
Yeah.
Like a
He
grown
says
up?
everybody says that.
Oh, no, they don't. Kids do.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
Bye.
See, people care about you, Anthony.
Yeah. Trust me, my phone is still going off in my pocket. I'm not going to answer it, though.
Okay, you're so popular. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
You're the most popular person who's
I'm the
ever
most
lost a brother.
I'm the prettiest girl in school.
Yeah. I lost a family member and didn't hear from anyone. Did I ever tell you that I was in the hospital once and Fez didn't even visit?
I heard about that last week.
Yeah. I could
2 weeks
see
ago.
his apartment from my room, and I'm not making that up.
It was probably rough for him.
I don't think so.
Seeing you like that.
I don't think so. Oh, like that would mean mortality for him?
Maybe.
It's like when Big Bird lost Mr. Hooper and was like, now who's going to make me my lunch? Like, shut up, Big Bird. Stop making this about you. And then they said that's what babies worry about, though. So Big Bird's a fucking baby. John in New Brunswick, how you doing?
Hey, good. How's it going, guys?
That's none of your business, John.
Well, you're sounding great. So I just wanted to plug my web series, if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's called Blimey, an Englishman in Atlantic Canada, and it's something I'm doing. It's just me and a comedian named James Mullinger. He's from the UK, and he just moved up to Canada last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we go around doing, basically head around to towns that have never seen stand-up before, film them, film a bit of the travel, a bit of the, along the way and whatnot, and then pop in a bit of that stand-up, and then edit it into a nice little 30-minute episode. And
30 minutes?
Yeah. 30
Sounds like a lot for the internet these days, dude. You normally give them 3 or 4 when you start puking.
Hey, this is quality stuff, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of fun because we pretty much have no budget because it airs on a community channel out here, but it's a great thing, and what we're putting together with it, it's I think it's something that a lot of people would enjoy that are interested in stand up. So,
well, send that to us, okay, and send it to the iBang, all right?
Yeah, will do, and I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on it.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a watch. Send it over to the iBang.
Perfect. Love everything you guys do. Keep rolling.
Peace. I think it's great that you can still find places in Canada that have never seen stand-up before. Like, there's still places like, what? A man walking on stage and telling jokes?
It's like them taking the Globetrotters around and
Yeah.
teaching people about basketball.
No. I'm not going to do this one thing because it'll only make Fez pissed off. Hey, I want to say congratulations to Flathead, who's on his way home today. He's been in jail, and we were talking about those synthetic babies. They grew his own skin to wrap around his foot. The skin graft got grown in a petri dish. They grew a couple yards of it like you would go out and buy your stuff and knitted it right into his foot.
Wow.
Maybe you could knit me a sweater of just skin that I can wear around town.
How long does that take to expand, I guess? I don't
know.
Like a month?
It's freaky though, right?
It's weird.
It's weird as hell that we are growing skin in a dish. We can do that, and yet kids still end up failing their semester on radio.
It happens.
You're going to be here anyway the rest of the term?
Do you want me to be, or should I just end
what's
it
the
this
point?
week? What's the point if I failed?
Yeah.
Because there's no way going back up at all.
I'm actually writing he's a failure on there.
I do have the midterm evaluation.
Great.
So I guess.
Great.
I guess.
Don't even bother.
Don't even.
Perfect timing. Should I scream at you then or scream at you now? It's up to you.
It's Wednesday. It's this Wednesday. So.
We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back. I believe Dan Perlman is here today. He does a piece he called Perlman's He does like little Perlmans of wisdom that he gives everyone. We'll be right back. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
Ron and Fez on Raw Dog Comedy Hits, Channel 99.
Yeah, buddies, it's the Ron and Fez Show. I'm just going to go around the room very quickly here. Shelby, Robert Durst, does he walk or get convicted?
He walks.
Fez.
Convicted this time.
I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that they're going to get him just on for a 20-year-old crime, handwriting.
Nah, he's walking.
As Dan Perlman showed up, you watched the whole thing, Dan? Beginning to end?
Nah, but I didn't need to.
That's great about you. You don't really need to see stuff. Dan used to be an intern for us. How many years ago, Dan?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. And now he's going on to become one of the hottest young comedians in the world today. You got a big gig coming up at the Funny Bone in Syracuse this Saturday.
Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday
You got a
night.
big night in comedy. And what's the name of this show? It's like a New York comedians.
It's like a New Yorkers of comedy show. Yeah.
No, Syracuse doesn't consider themselves New York.
New Yorkers, I guess not. Or yeah.
Are you all?
feel out of
Are
place.
the New York City comics all traveling together for this?
I'm getting a ride from another guy. Yeah.
Who's the other guy?
This other guy, Aaron, who I think lives up there, so he's driving me up there.
All right, so you and Aaron are going to go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to headline the gig, and then you're going to hit Syracuse and do it right.
I'm going to do it right. Yeah. I'm going to show them the New York way.
Right. And then you looking to pick up women?
No, I'm good. I got a girlfriend now, so.
Oh, is that right? You got a girlfriend? She's not listening now, is she?
Nah, it's unlikely.
Good, because I heard a story about you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Let's just say a young friend of mine went out to do stand-up, and a phone was being passed around with a picture on that phone, and the other young comedians were saying, here's the redhead that Dan Perlman finger blasted. And our own little Molly had to hear this.
I don't know how these tales get started.
Apparently, you're like a big deal with the open mic guys. Like they're like, "Oh, Dan Perlman's so great. He finger blasts girls after the show."
All right. Well, it's possible. There's really no way of knowing.
But you still feel like you have a girlfriend.
You have 10 fingers. Yeah. You wave them around. Sometimes they end up in places.
Okay.
You're just
you can't control all 10.
He has made a point.
What are you, a magician?
Yeah,
Shelby?
You're in so many. I mean, you just can't even remember all of them. I mean, you have 10. You can keep track of some of them.
Well, I don't know what Shelby's talking about.
I don't know whether he's wingmanning you or going in the other direction.
No, yeah.
Seems like he had both sides of that. Dan.
Yes.
I keep hearing from two people, Dave Attell.
Yes.
And Tom Rhodes. Well, and also Big J.
Yes.
Who were all disappointed that you did not do stand-up.
Oh, my God.
At the Thanksgiving show.
What a setup for failure that was going to be.
But it would have been the kind of failure.
There is no way that would have gone well. This was at the Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah, is that the last time we saw you?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Wow. It's been a fast winter. I don't care what anyone says.
It soars by.
Yeah.
Who's saying it's been slow? People lie, man.
It's a good point. I'm trying to figure out who to. But some people are complaining.
But that was such a setup for failure.
But it was the kind of failure.
It was after everyone had eaten.
Yeah.
So after everyone eaten post-Thanksgiving meal, when everyone's dead and tired, and it's a setup where you guys are all talking and having fun, and then you're going to bring me on for 2 minutes.
Here's what happened.
To stand up.
You came up to say something.
In front of multiple, exceptionally funny comics.
Here's the thing. Do you remember who came up with the idea of that?
It was Tom Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the one guy who I'd never met of all of them.
And he's
who
the guy.
I don't know at all.
He's played every continent. You know what I mean? Like Tom Rhodes is the road dog of road dogs.
Right.
He's a guy that could have gotten you work on every continent.
There is no Rod. There's no way there was set up for nothing but failure with that. And also, that's such a. If someone says like, "Hey, do a joke," and you like launch right into a bit, no one wants to talk to that guy.
I'm telling you right now. The reason why Rhodes wanted you to see that, and Attell keeps bringing it up to me, is because they would have liked to see you how you handled yourself when you took a little skin off your nose. I think you would have leaped. I think you would be friends with those guys right now.
If I'd told some joke to
if
silence.
you would have went into it, if you'd have just fucking turned around, started working to the audience,
and just ripped the mic,
ignored us completely, turned around and started talking to the audience, I think those guys would be your biggest fans to this day.
All right, well, we got St. Patrick's Day coming up. Are we going to have a feast for that?
You only get one fucking shot in this world when a door opens. Remember this, I always say this. When a door opens, it means all the other doors are closed for the rest of your life. I try to point that out to people.
I didn't realize that about
Fez
doors.
is a timing guy. And when it comes down to it, and it really matters, that's when fucking Fez hits the long ball. So a lot of people be like, okay, Fez, look at his batting average. I'll go like this. Check him in the bottom of the ninth in the series.
Yes.
Because he's
Jeter.
Yeah. He's the Jeter of radio.
Mr. November.
Yeah. Long November, that's him, Mr. November.
I could have claimed that on Thanksgiving. That would have been my November.
Now, Fez...
Instead, I'm stuck finger blasting after shows.
Dude, you know that I'm telling that like it's a true story, right?
Yes.
Have you talked to Molly about it?
No.
Because she's the one who told me. And she was crushed because she used to have feelings for you.
I like Molly.
You know.
We've texted a couple times.
Yeah. That's another thing you ruined. That and your chance to become friends with Attell, Rhodes, Big J.
Well, the doors aren't closed.
They're closed.
I'm friends with Jay, I think.
Jay says to me all the time, you ever had the coward back on your show? I go, don't fucking call him that. That's fucking Danny P, all right? That's my Perlman.
None of them had done bits the entire show. I would have been happy to join the conversation. Tom Rhodes, he wasn't doing his tight five after everyone had dessert. And 3-course meal.
They wanted to see. If you were a goer or not.
Nobody wanted to see that.
Rhodes did.
He was just setting up for failure. He goes to all those continents, and he's burned people in every continent.
So what?
No,
now then he would have owed you. You'd be like, hey, how come? I Fez like there for a couple of minutes. It looks like you wanted to jump in and you couldn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like inside you were saying stuff?
Yeah, but I can't even remember what it was.
But I saw like when I kept trying to call you into this, and Dan and I were talking.
The home run thing, yeah.
Did you see that he was?
There was a moment,
kind of moving inside, right?
Yeah.
Well, someone has sent me this under the advice email, and it's Marcus sent this. He says, "I was listening to a podcast today from the BBC." You guys are familiar with that, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's England, one of the places Tom Rhodes played, where you could be opening for him now, okay? In London, England. And he said, selective mutism. Here are the symptoms that follows. Consistent failure to speak in specific social situations in which there is an expectation for speaking, such as school, despite speaking in other situations. So the thing of that is, after the show today, I'm sure you and I will be in a conversation. Later, we might talk on the phone. You never run into your locked up moments, but there are times that you have them.
Yeah, where they just hit.
Do you feel like it's selective mutism?
I don't think it's selective mutism because I'm not selecting the moments. It's
not you selecting subconsciously.
You wouldn't select it. Yeah, it's like you just run into these mental blocks.
No one selects to be mute.
Oh, then I guess that is it.
Well, according to this, it'll clear up in a month.
I guess Teller does. Penn and Teller.
Well, Teller, it's part of the act, but you heard what Penn and Teller did on stage, right?
Not
they
what they
announced to their audience that we are the Ron and Fez of magic, because some people call us the Penn and Teller of radio. Which one was I? I forget. I always forget. But you may have this selective mutism, Fez. You might be a mutant, if you will. A mutant. Dan, the career must be going pretty well if you're headlining the Funny Bone in Syracuse.
Yeah, that was fun. Because that was there was this like comedy festival or stand-up competition up in Ithaca, and I won first place in that. And so one of the like prize things was to headline this show.
Fantastic. How much time are you doing? How much time are you doing?
30, I think.
Yeah, you think. You don't even know. Like, it's how, it means nothing. How much material do you have altogether? Could you do a special if we need you to?
No, not that anyone would want to see.
How long have you been doing comedy?
Tom Rhodes is the only one that would want to see that.
Tom Rhodes loves you, or tried to love you.
He tried to.
How much time do you think you have altogether?
I mean, I've done like 45 a couple times, but I'm not under the delusion that means I have 45 good minutes.
You'd like to get rid of 27 of your 45,
at least.
Yes.
How
long have you been doing comedy?
Like seriously, every night, about 3 years.
And I've seen your personality change. Yeah, you used to have somewhat of a shyness.
Oh,
about
totally, yeah.
Yeah, when you would come in, you'd be like, and I would ask you a question, you'd be like, there it is, and now I'm going.
Right.
To get out the door.
Totally.
And I'd be like, but now you come into a room comfortable, confident.
Well, yeah, no, I think stand-up definitely has a lot to do with that, because you're
Yeah.
just on stage every night, or just like being on the radio or whatever. Like you have to get comfortable immediately. And also, once you. What
about the selective mutes?
And selective mutes also.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like very silently comfortable, but no. And also, yeah. There's less to fear, because if you once you fail,
right,
and you live through that, then then everything else seems easier.
All right, that's a good point. Do you agree with that, Fez? That once you fail, you figure, what the fuck? I don't care.
No, you always care.
Why?
I don't know. Failing by not being able to talk doesn't make the next time not being able to talk any easier.
That's not what we're talking about. Failing by something you said.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that you say something that's either stupid or ridiculous or completely wrong. And then you think to yourself, hey, that happened. And everyone, life still goes on.
Right.
What is there to worry about?
Like, life will still go on after I make this prediction for the brackets. I like Hampton over Kentucky.
Holy shit! That will be lock that in, Shelby.
I'm saying it right now.
Yeah.
They're a game under.
That's locked in our computer.
They're a game under 500.
Yeah.
But they got this game against Manhattan College, the Jaspers. That's in the
you
first
see them
four.
beat Manhattan College.
Yeah, they're riding the momentum.
Because
they were 500 in conference play.
But I see Manhattan College beating them. I have that picked.
I'll say this: whoever claws out of that slugfest, the Wildcats are going down.
This will be this is the undefeated Wildcats.
Yeah, I see the record, but I'm just saying there's nothing worse than overconfidence.
The lesson that he's giving you now is what, Fizz?
You can say outrageous things and it's not going to bother people.
That's a good, truthful answer of what you've done.
That's also a great basketball pick on my part. But okay.
And see, he's still going with his angle. He's still going with his bet. He doesn't care whether he's being truthful or not. He's staying there. By the way, you look more and more like Travis Bickle every time that I see you. You're fucking frightening today. You've shaved the head. You've got the fucking army shirt on. You're driving around. This fucking city stinks.
I left my
city stinks.
I left my taxi in the lobby there.
The smell of the city comes up into my nostrils. Now I feel like going home and watching that. You don't feel like that's you doing stand-up every night?
That's me, man. That's me. See, what is there to be shy of if you look like Bickle?
What clubs are you a regular at?
I'm at Stand Up New York a lot, on the Upper West Side, comic strip sometimes. I'm not at the Stand often, but I'm sometimes at Laughing Devil, which is the same people that own the Stand own Laughing Devil.
In Queens?
In Queens, yeah. Where I live.
Yeah.
In Queens. So, and then a bunch of like alt rooms and stuff.
Like, give me some of the alt rooms you play.
The Bar Matchless, like Broken Comedy, in Brooklyn.
What happens there? It's an old mattress factory. You go in.
Matchless, not mattress.
People are fucking building mattresses, and you're just doing like 10 minutes from them. Did you ever notice when you're putting together mattresses? Look up here, everybody.
Yeah. You get people comfortable. That was why I couldn't do the Thanksgiving thing. It was like everybody was on a mattress. That's how relaxed and tired they looked. That's why I couldn't do that.
We fed the entire audience turkey and mashed potatoes.
It was a 4-course meal.
Yeah.
Of all this stuff.
Let me tell you, because I haven't talked to you since then.
Yes.
The fact that so many people that were interns came back for that show.
Yeah.
It really gave me a Mr. Holland's Opus feeling. I can't.
Right? That must have been.
Tell you how nice that was.
That was great. That must have been great. Yeah. No, that was cool. It was cool to see.
It was really a fun night.
And there were people like fans and stuff who showed up.
Yeah, the fans were there. Great comics. All were let down that you wouldn't just do a little stand up.
I was sitting at a table with a fan who. Like, he didn't recognize me, but he tweeted "fuck you" at me once, and then he was like, "Oh, Dan Perlman," like he was super nice in person.
They never care.
He was the nicest, but then
they will just go like this. You. Remember when I said you were the worst fucking thing ever? Can I get a picture with me and you?
What are you doing?
Yeah,
that's great.
They never mean it. It's not personal to them. Now that you've been doing stand up for 3 years,
yes,
give me your 3 best stand ups working today. Boom. End of this story. 3 best people you're saying, this is what I'm gunning for.
Bill Burr. I would say. Louis has to be there. Hannibal. There's so many guys. I mean, in the city, in the city, there's so many. I mean, there's Big J.
Give me a West Coast
Ted
guy.
Alexandro.
Give me a West Coast guy that you really admire. One West Coast guy, because you fucking New York guys are so annoying with that. You don't give them any love, and then when they come here, they're like, I don't want to be.
I don't see them as often.
They're like, I don't know if I'm even comfortable in your
Bill Burr
town.
lives out in L.A.
He's a New York guy, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
By way of Boston.
Oh, he's Boston, yeah.
He's Boston first and foremost, but a lot of people are.
Who do you like out in L.A.?
Don't worry about me. I'm just going by you. I don't know who everybody is. I can't sit around and do your work for you.
No, that's true.
I was hoping that you would say Tom Rhodes was your favorite comic. And I could send this to
he's
him.
not an L.A. guy. He's
a planet
He's
Earth.
Mr. Universe.
Yeah. He's doing 3 days in Jupiter.
You never in the mood to watch Taxi Driver?
No, I'll watch it any fucking given day. I can.
My friend just told me, he said that apparently the most that Schindler's List is the most common movie that's in someone's Netflix queue.
Is that right?
But never watched. Everyone has it in their queue, and no one's ever in the mood to watch Schindler's List.
By the way, I wanted you to notice this: IFC runs Reservoir Dogs in the Pulp Fiction, and then probably a 7 or Fight Club 24 hours a day, breaking them up every once in a while with a Mark Maron or a Portlandia. It's fucking crazy. I'm not even making that up. Now that I told you, go in and look some weekend. It's running around the clock, and they just throw the fucking ads in it.
Pulp Fiction, Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction
in
again.
In case you missed it.
Yeah.
Sounds like the perfect lineup.
It is the first time you see it.
Finally,
but
Must See TV is back.
Look at him just fucking typing away. Oh, I'm going to see if it's true.
He put it in the record.
I'm going to see if it's true.
Look, that it is true.
Oh, look, everyone! I have it on my computer, so I know that it's true. Dan Perlman headlining the New Yorkers of Comedy show at the Funny Bone in Syracuse. It's just 2 guys.
No, I think there's like three or four people.
3 or 4 people at Dan J. Perlman, at Dan J. Perlman on Twitter, funnybone.com for tickets. Here's some of the things that happened last night at South by Southwest. Amy Schumer's movie getting a lot of buzz, a lot of great things being said about Trainwreck. Also, some good things being said about Spy with Melissa McCarthy getting back together with Paul Feig. Cool article up there where Jimmy Kimmel said he wanted his show canceled in the first season. An unbelievable Josh Brolin surfer rescue. Wayne Rooney knocked out in a boxing match. Here's the interesting thing about that. If you go back and watch it, you can see how people get killed fucking around because he falls and hits the back of his head, and you see that he's so close to a table that he could have ended up dead in a heartbeat just from boxing with a buddy.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, watch this. Watch when he goes. So they're just boxing in the kitchen. It's two buddies just fucking around. Not, not throwing a lot of leather, and he gets hit with that jab and goes out. But look how close he is to that end table where that could have went in the back of his head, and Wayne Rooney, dead man.
You think this is going to be a rising trend, the kitchen boxing?
Has it ever been out? I mean, it's always been
true.
there.
That's true.
It
would be fun, like if on The Price is Right, when they unveil the kitchen set that you could win if you just had guys sparring,
just sparring back and forth.
You had a beautiful model, and then behind just guys jabbing at each other.
It's like a natural thing. You're like, oh, that looks nice. You're just really not paying attention to the two guys boxing.
No, not at all. You just want to bid $1 and not oversell. The thing with the Kimmel thing, I read that I wish I'd seen more of the early Kimmel, because you hear those stories that like you said, he didn't know what he was doing, and he would just go up there and try to riff like it was Regis and Kelly or something.
And yet, this might sound weird, but I think I liked him better then.
Really?
I liked him better before he got his
polished kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the same for Letterman. I used to think Letterman was brilliant, but he's been running with the format that he invented for so many years now. That
Letterman, you go back and watch. I went to Paley Center and watched some of that old stuff there, and he used to do the weirdest things. He did one show where he decided he didn't want to do the show in the studio, so he was going to do the whole show from his office. So the show opens with him sending the studio audience home, or his staff doing it, and he has Paul Schaefer come into his office with a little Casio keyboard, and he has Richard Lewis come in and do stand-up to one camera. It's manic Richard Lewis. Being what's going on? And Dave's just do your jokes.
His show would be like that all the time, and then when
that's
he moved,
great. It was so cool to see that.
But when you move to 11:30, you can't, because one little niche matters. Right. So there's meetings about. I think we got to get Dave out of the double-breasted suit. It's a problem right now with him in double-breasted suits.
It's not testing.
Now,
well.
have you seen the UFO picture that's up on the iBank?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Go over to the iBank slowly. We're in no hurry. And Tim Heidecker, I'm thinking you're familiar with him.
Of course, yeah.
Found a UFO soaring. Now, look at this. Go ahead and hit it. There it is, soaring through, I believe, the California sky. And watch, and you'll see a color that does not exist on the planet Earth. Right there. I mean, that was phenomenal.
That's great.
Yeah. Now you also see the sky behind it change colors, which makes me wonder if it's giving off a type of radiation that maybe doesn't even exist on this planet.
Tim's always at the forefront of these discoveries.
Sometimes he's even in the background of them. I mean, it's not important to always be it's some peripheral stuff.
It's peripheral vision.
Yeah,
that's what Tim Heidecker has.
Yeah. But Eric seems like he never gets anything cool like this. But no. Tim has this out. It is, and while we were doing the show today, the United States Air Force, as well as Homeland Security, says that they've tested some of the things around this, and it's not of this planet. They say they're not saying it's an alien aircraft. Mm-hmm. They're saying something existed here
that's otherworldly.
Otherworldly, but for all we know, this could be a comet that's just whipping around in our atmosphere. There's type of auras not known to people.
Right.
And some of the people that live in the Tri-County area are experiencing bumps on their neck and back that they believe there might be some kind of spider egg inside those bumps.
That would explain a lot.
Mm.
You know? Just in our lives specifically.
Sure.
But also through history.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the wars.
Yeah.
You can't forget them.
You can't forget the wars or the fact that no one really knows how the Statue of Liberty was made.
That's true.
You know, that could not have been made by the people of that time.
No. That shows there must be a force in the universe.
Yeah.
Even when you look around here, the desk, chairs.
Yeah. Everything is weird. Well, I've always believed that there's a starman waiting in the sky.
What does he look like?
I believe he looks like Jeff Bridges from the movie Starman. I believe that he'll look like each one of us, whatever he wishes to take on, but that also has web feet.
He can take on any shape.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I hope Homeland Security finally gives Tim Heidecker its due. Because they've been coasting every accomplishment. They're like, oh, yeah, it's just government work. But it's not.
Not always. It's a breakthrough sometimes. And you take it next level, take it to a higher deck.
Yes.
And that's where you get the high decker. You know what I mean? Like, you're not hanging around down here where most things happen.
No.
You're taking it to a high deck. You're taking it to a high decker. That's all. Fez, I see you with the selective mutism, but I think inside you're screaming right now. I think there's a person in you.
Can I say like you referenced me being more quiet initially, and then that's a painful feeling,
right?
To have that when you are withholding or can't verbalize the stuff that's in your head,
and
because then you take it out on yourself. You know,
you felt like that 3 years ago.
Yeah, and like 20 and the previous 20.
So all
not just,
of you,
not just 3
life,
years ago.
You wanted to express yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But there were just very small instances where I could, like with a handful of friends and stuff, or anyone I had sex with.
But here's the thing, Dan. And first of all, let me give you all the credit in the world for making that kind of transformation. You and Fez have shown the same kind of growth over the last 3 years. But the thing for me that's so amazing is now that you're expressing yourself.
Yes, sir.
But it's so stupid and dull. I'm wondering,
was it worth it? Yeah. Was it worth the effort?
Yeah. Does it still feel like success? Now, Dan's going to be highlighting the Funny Bone in Syracuse this Thursday, March 19th, funnybone.com. Now, for you Twitter people, if you'd like to tweet him or follow him, Dan answers all of his Twitter people back 24 hours a day. He's there for you. Any question, or if you need furniture moved.
And as stupid and dull as possible.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no, there's a market for it.
Yeah. Failure is okay. It's okay to fail.
The hardest thing's getting out the front door.
Yeah.
Right? Every day's a blessing. These are all sentences I'm saying.
I always say shut the front door when I want to say shut the fuck up. You know?
That's like those TV edits that they do.
Yeah. Just shut the front door, I'll yell, and then I'm just jerking my cock off as they say it. Did I just say cock like my dick is from Boston? There you are. You're laughing with like noise though, right, Fez?
Yeah.
If you're able to do that, what are you able to do next?
Laugh harder.
And then follow it up with a
comment.
Or a
sentence.
Or even a
metaphor.
Why does he sit and let himself do that to me? Why would he just say, oh, I'm going to fill in fragments for this cocksucker, and it could go on for 4 hours?
You're playing Mad Libs.
Yeah,
it was
I know,
an easy game of Mad Libs
right,
that
but
he thought.
yes.
You were putting it right on the tee for him. How does he not lay down a nice bunt single?
But see, that's the thing. Then he's like, I'm doing good. I'm filling in the Mad Libs.
But that's the step. It's baby steps.
Is it baby steps to the car?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. I get baby steps, right?
Yeah.
But for babies, not for fucking grown-up adults. That thing is still flying all this time.
Well, Tim found a great thing.
I worry about him like giving out a government secret. Like nobody saw this.
Why are you helping the government cover shit up? Who fucking pays taxes? Us, right?
That's true.
Yeah. If they're working on shit, we have every right to know it. All right.
What secrets do you want to keep?
Well, I just think some things.
What do you know?
Don't worry about what I know. I mean, some.
I'm going to say nothing for him.
Yeah,
he knows nothing. That's
fair.
But do you really want the government keeping secrets from you?
No, but I mean,
You
who
just said
knows
you're worried about
if Tim he reveals this? Who knows? They could just make him disappear like that. We'll never see him again.
Why would they?
I don't think they'd do that. That seems mean spirited, even for our government. That would leave Eric with nobody.
Now, what do? You get an email like this, and the guy's asking you to have somebody on your show that Opie has on quite a bit. I'm like, well, isn't it Opie's guy?
Do you know the guy?
Yeah, I could get him on this show, but I just feel like
I mean, the
don't
guy
wanna-
emailing you.
No, it's just some,
Some idiot.
Yeah, some John. I don't know if he's an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just using that as like synonymous for person.
There's a guy who wants to take Fez to a Booker T match. He's the ringside physician. Now, this is so interesting to me. Please re-air the 12 to 3 show on Raw Dog or some other SXM channel. You have no idea how happy you make people during their evening commutes. We do run it. We just do not publicize it at all. It runs every night when, Fizz?
It runs every night at 11.
No, Don's going to be here tomorrow. No, it doesn't run every night at 11. It runs every night at 11 on Opie Radio.
Yeah.
When does it run on drive time on the West Coast?
It runs at midnight on Opie Radio and 6 to 9 on the Indie channel, channel 57.
That was a great team effort there.
Yeah. 6 to 9 a.m. or p.m.?
That is 6 to 9 a.m. And you can also listen on the On Demand app anytime you want.
On Demand app. I believe that if there are aliens, they're all going to have On Demand apps.
I'm sure.
Dan, I got to get something going with you. First of all,
Please.
I'm very happy with your growth.
Yes.
And I feel like a small part of that. Like if you go...
It should be bigger than small. Yes.
All right, I feel like the largest part of that.
The hugest, yes.
If you go on to do a comedy movie that wins an Oscar, I want you to bring my name up.
It would be in the first 2 names.
Okay, who's going to be the other name?
Jeff Bridges.
Okay, so I guess you're co-starring with him.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to thank my co-star, Jeff Bridges.
I don't work with that guy.
Who would you work with?
Oh, boy.
Do you got an idea for a movie?
I got some floating around, yeah.
Yeah.
But who would I work with? Man, who would be cool?
I've got a great idea for a movie.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, actually, it's 2 ideas they have. First movie would be A Man Goes on a Journey. I think would be fabulous to say.
Yeah.
But my next idea for a movie is A Stranger Comes to Town. I think neither one of these have been touched yet,
Yes. There's room for that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my this TV pitch I have?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
It's more for like a promo. I don't think it would ever be made into a show.
Yeah.
But it's about a young girl, 20-something. She's trying to make it in the big city, okay?
All right, loving this.
Got it.
She tries to balance her career. She's an intern at a hot fashion mag.
Wow.
Her love life, dating's no picnic in 2015. And her wacky family. Her dad is international terrorist Osama bin Laden.
Whoa.
Been there, done that. That's the title.
That's the name of it?
That's the name of it.
Why are you even saying this on the air? We should be saying this in LA right now. We
You
should
get
be
the
saying
buzz
this.
going. Now,
yeah, okay.
So now we'll write a thing and then take
you
it to
know
the
what?
meetings.
And let's just keep calling it the Perlman Project wherever
Yes.
we go. Now, I have a great idea.
Daddy. That's the impression of the daughter.
I
talking
do
to
like
Bin
that.
Laden.
That's cute, though. Daddy. And he's like, oh. But I have an idea for a show. It's about an Asian family.
Oh, boy.
And they're just talking to each other like this. Hey, you back in here! It's time for a cookie! And that's what it's going to be called. The Fortune Cookies, because the guy's
That's
name,
great.
his last name is Cookies.
That's
but
great.
his first name is Fortune.
That's
and he's
great.
in the States to make his fortune, but he just keeps having more and more Asian babies. Like, more baby!
That's great.
How we gonna pay?
You need more Asians on TV, and this
Yeah.
fills that.
Yeah.
Got another.
And they also do they do a Styx tribute band called the Chopsticks.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Can I?
Jeez.
I got a couple more pitches. If
Great.
You'd like to hear. Okay. You want to hear a miniseries or a movie? I got them both.
You got to look over there. But I want to hear the miniseries first.
Let's do miniseries.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's it's two young women.
All right.
Low level employees at the World Bank. Okay. They're sworn enemies. And they suddenly get caught up in the biggest diamond heist in history. And they're the only ones who know. These are real top of the line crooks.
Yeah.
We're talking about. And they dodge quarters, dimes, nickels thrown their way. And they have to band together. And they realize that the only real currency is friendship.
Wow. Mind fuck. That could be the name of it, matter of fact.
Yeah, that'd be a good name. That'd be a good name. Or the Chinese thing.
We got to wrap up here today at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
The studio is needed. Dan, personal growth, that's what I'm calling you. Dan's headlining the New Yorkers of Comedy show at the Funny Bone in Syracuse this Thursday, March 19th. Look out, girls in Syracuse. He finger blasts. Funnybone.com for tickets at Dan J. Perlman.